We are back, and what are we running today?
We got apple brandy.
Apple brandy.
We made some apple wine. I think it was going to turn out, and make a fine wine, but it is just very hard to beat a good apple brandy, and I get excited about them. I don't know. It's like every time I run an apple, I just want to turn it into brandy.
Hell yeah. How'd you make the brandy? Or how'd you make the apple wine?
So we had 4.5 gallon of store-bought apple juice, 24 pounds of apples that we cored, and we ended up putting 4 pounds of sugar and pectic enzyme, EC 1118 yeast. We had a starting gravity of 1070, and it worked all the way down.
And you completely pressed those apples. You got every bit of juice out of those apples you could.
Yeah, it's
24 pounds got you
slightly under a gallon. I pressed them in a huge press, took them out, cut them up, put them in a bag, cut them up some more, mashed them, and ended up trying to get every drop out of them, and ended up with a little over 3/4 of a gallon of juice.
Yeah. Awesome.
So
So we're gonna put all of this in there, which this is a 6-gallon carboy?
That is a 5-gallon carboy, and then we got a 1 gallon there. I ended up with, I started off in a bigger 6.5 gallon, and by the time I racked, it just kind of made more sense to go. I've been watching the headspace. Doesn't matter, does not matter. I don't know. There's a video on the Homebrew Center YouTube about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so ended up with 6 gallon. And, we've got some concentrate there we're going to throw off in our thumper.
Yeah.
Run me through that process a little bit.
So your thumper has to come up to temperature, just like your pot has to come up to temperature. And so we are going to preheat these. We're going to start the still, let it start getting up to temperature. And just before it gets up to temperature, we're going to heat these up on the electric skillet, put them in there at like 160 degrees, clamp this off. That way, when vapor starts coming over into this pot, there's no real preheating that has to take place here. And that's just going to shorten our runtime. If we didn't preheat what goes in, then you just add more time, because this pot has to come up to temperature also before it allows vapor to start coming through the worm.
Now, let me ask you this. Say we were just to dump that off in there cold. Is this going to steam up and come down in here? Is it going to elevate our liquid level to a place where we don't want that much liquid in the thumper? Is that going to be an issue? Or?
I mean, if you have undersized thumpers, that's definitely an issue. We do not have an undersized thumper with this still, so it wouldn't be an issue even if we did it that way. All we're really doing is saving time.
Nice.
And we're just adding some extra concentrate in here just to try and pull a little extra flavor over. There's all kinds of variables that have to do with, our heads are going to pull some of that flavor out. We're going to strip some of that flavor with our heads. But this is just kind of like, this is a maiden voyage for this still. We've already done the sacrificial run. This is the first real run on the North Georgia Fat 10. So we're pretty excited about it. We're going to see what we're going to get.
This thing's gorgeous, man. We've got it sitting out in the shop, and people come in and they're always kind of oogling it. And then, man, it's a pretty old thing, and I'm excited to run a little apple brandy through it.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Grab a beer, grab a whiskey, sit down, enjoy the show.
Just wanted to let you know that Still in the Clear now offers heirloom corns. We've got the Hickory King White, we've got the Bloody Butcher, we've got the Jimmy Red. We've got a hybrid non-GMO blue corn. We've got the trucker's favorite white corn. And if you've been wanting to try some of these corns and add a distinctively different flavor to your moonshine, other than just a regular old yellow corn, you definitely want to try these out. You can go to stillintheclear.com/shop, click on the category heirloom corns, and see everything we have to offer. You can get it in 10-pound batches. You can also get them straight from the Homebrew Center shop if you're local to the Fort Smith area. And we also offer bulk purchases in store at Homebrew Center where you can get a great deal on a 50-pound bag. That is pickup only. But if you want to try some of these great corns shipped straight to your door at a great price, check them out. Stillintheclear.com.
The perfect shine, some say, is all about the water, or about the best corn or their secret mash bill. For others, it's about a great still and a lot of copper in the process. The best distillers and moonshiners know that the pursuit of the perfect shine is more about the sum total of each great part, not any one thing. The North Georgia Still Company is a great place to pursue your perfect. You won't find a better still. The materials, craftsmanship, and attention to detail in every still they make, regardless of size, is the finest that money can buy. Need awesome grains, enzymes, yeast, or other accessories for making mash or distilling it? They've got that too. The North Georgia Still Company is all about turning water into shine. Go ahead, get your shine on.
We're back. Welcome everybody back to the live. We're here with Zach, world champion hamster breeder and animal cracker connoisseur.
Years and years of practice and dedication to the trade has built up to this moment. I'm glad to be back with you for another exciting week of running a still, talking some moonshining.
Always. It's always a lot of fun. I think it's fun anyway.
I like it.
I mean, a few people keep coming back, so, you know.
Yeah, good to see a few familiar names in the chat. We got Tony and David and Winsong and Paul and Red, White, and Q Smokehouse.
Nice handle.
Seems like a place to go visit.
Yeah.
All the way up there in New Jersey. I'll tell you what, if I'm ever in the greater New Jersey area and I'm looking for some barbecue, I'm going to come find you.
Mm-hmm.
Red, White, and Q. Absolutely.
But, yeah, we got the North Georgia fired off here back behind us. As you guys can tell, we're running a little apple brandy, which is maybe possibly my favorite thing to run through the still.
Well, it turned out very good last time.
We'll see what it does this time with the all of you. 34 over on the Stone Clear YouTube. We've got a few others on Facebook and TikTok. So good to see everybody in.
Yeah. So I saw earlier in the chat that Clinton gifted another 10 memberships.
Clinton, I think 20.
It was 20.
Oh, was it 20?
Clinton with the 20 bomb.
Yeah.
So if you guys aren't taking advantage of that, I'm still not completely sure how all that works, but I did learn this week that if you're on an iPhone or an iPad, you do not see the join button because of in-app purchase rules on Apple or some weird thing. Mm-hmm. And so if you go, you can still join the channel if you go to the browser or on a phone that's not Apple.
Get out of the way of that still a little bit.
Yeah.
Let them look at her.
See that pretty thing. Dude, yeah. We went live several times this week, two or three times this week, to members only. Just I do a little thing in the mornings called Rise and Shine. And it's just a short little live. We just kind of shoot the shit for a minute, and that's turned out pretty good. Didn't do it today because I got sidetracked and actually just completely spaced it. And then the day before we had, an Arkansas-style blizzard that I didn't get here until 9 o'clock or later. I don't remember when I got here.
No, I'm just kidding. If you guys tune in tomorrow morning, Cyrus and I are going to be leg wrestling. So you're going to want to see that.
Yeah.
Feel pretty good about my chances.
I'll have to adjust my wardrobe for tomorrow.
Get a little bit of extra flexibility in there.
Get my wrestling onesie on.
You look like you could be spry when it comes to a little leg wrestling competition, though.
I mean, spry might have been a word you could have described me 20 years ago. I'm not sure it applies anymore, but
yeah. Only got probably about 100 pounds on you, so. Oh, not 100. Maybe 100, I don't know. What are you weighing these days?
190-ish. I don't remember. 190-ish. I haven't weighed in a while, so you know, I'm a little heavier now, I think.
I'm 250. My mom says I carry it well though. So
I keep growing this spare tire I got.
on, man.
Yeah.
A little storage for later.
Tomcat asks, where in the USA can you run? Which is a common kind of question we get pretty much every week.
You deciphered that comment very well. I read it multiple times.
Well, he
couldn't exactly
corrected the one in the one below.
Okay.
So yeah, it's technically federally illegal everywhere in the states.
We don't give. So here's the thing. I'll go through the normal spiel. This comes up quite often. We don't give anyone any kind of legal advice on whether you can or cannot run encumbered by any sort of law, statute, or local policy. Do what you feel comfortable with. That said, pretty important federal court ruling out of a district federal court in Texas that pretty much said these people aren't engaged in interstate commerce. They're not producing this liquor for sale, and you got to leave them alone. So I encourage you to go read that court ruling.
Yay, Texas.
Yeah. The hobby distillers down there got them a little money together, hired them an attorney, and made a legal argument, and ended up coming out on the right side of it. So, good for the hobby, and good for them, good for us. So, that said, how do Moonshine Shua asks, how do I get on this live? Well, brother, we need to set something up with you and port you in through the Zoom. For those of you that don't know, Moonshine Shua, big time moonshine, big money, they call him. I hear people I see him in his comments, big money, they refer to him.
Yeah.
But he's a big moonshiner over on TikTok, and he's got a YouTube as well, doesn't he?
He does, not very active on it, but
Been a master distiller, been on master
you can go
distiller.
follow him there.
Cool cat, good dude.
He says that the homebrew club in the town that sued him.
Oh, nice.
In his town. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, they're a good tribe down there. Got good heads on their shoulders, and brought forth some pretty awesome litigation. And so, yeah, man, that's cool. Hey, Shua, I would actually love to reach out and talk to those guys and have not only you but them on the show as well. And
that'd be awesome.
We're figuring that out right now.
Yeah, we're
Keller, Texas. Yeah, that's right.
We're working on getting the technology side of things squared out so that we can actually invite people into the live.
We're going to port people. Hold on, I always do this with my hand. We're going to port people into where there's a screen right here, and they'll be able to kind of chat and talk with us. I don't know if we're going to have headphones for that type of a situation. I don't know. We're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
Adam's the guy. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know either.
Okay.
Yet. So, but I am working on it.
Jason says it's only illegal if you get caught, which is exactly true.
Pretty true.
Yeah. And just, as a kind of general disclaimer.
Yeah.
If you're following our advice, you're doing it all wrong anyway. So
it's kind of true.
Advice on anything
well, we don't give any kind of legal advice. Just to be fair, we are not attorneys. We are not your attorneys. Okay. Seek legal counsel for your local jurisdiction, laws, statutes, all that good stuff.
Duke is in the house. Can't get on the YouTube channel. Duke, that is probably an Apple phone thing. If you have an Apple phone, you'll have to go to a browser to join the YouTube channel, if that's what you're talking about. You said can't get on the YouTube channel. I'm not sure exactly what that means. But
he's here via Facebook. I don't know either.
Oh,
could be a tariff type situation between
tariff.
I'm not sure. I haven't looked into the whole. Could be part of it.
Trump hasn't got back to us yet on that, so
no, yeah.
So we are running the Brandy. We are 3 jars deep at the moment and about to collect another jar. Got some apple, strawberry, kiwi concentrate in the thumper. Can't write a comment, he says. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't have any advice for you on that, brother.
I don't know either.
Interesting.
So the thumper is for sure carrying over some of the notes.
Yeah, so we put some concentrate into the thumper with a little bit of 186 proof neutral spirit, and it's carrying some stuff through for sure.
Very subtle on the taste, though. Tony says, really wanting to do a brandy. Should absolutely do it.
I like the taste of that one significantly more than I like the last jar. I will say that.
Make a little note.
That's a good one.
See what the proof comes out. Jar 1 was 145, jar 2 148, jar 3 149. And jar 4 148. Oh, I didn't let everybody guess.
We'll get you guys on the next one.
We're still in catch-up mode on the shipping, which means we're not doing any giveaways right now. I got too far behind.
We are trying to remain disciplined and get out all. Yeah, it's really hard. I come in here like every Thursday morning. I'm like, let's go. And he's like, well, maybe we should catch up on the 50, 60 orders we need to get out. Look, okay, I've got to make sense. But we have got back in stock the things that we were missing that was holding us up, and I don't see that being a problem anymore.
Finally getting caught up.
And it's been nice.
So, once we do that, then we're like, well, let's roll out a whole new product. Let's offer 5 different heirloom corns now that we're almost able to get caught up.
Just take on more, and the 30 or so hours out of the week that we aren't both here, let's just commit another 15 or 20 hours and get everything squared away.
149.48. Joe nailed it. She's got laughy faces after that, which I assume means she typed it after I said it. Knowing the sneaky Joe.
Mm-hmm.
She's a slick one.
Need to order some high-speed corn. Tony
high-speed
says.
Corn. I mean, that's new one on me.
I like that high-speed, low drag.
Oh, yeah, high-speed, low drag. That's a military type. I guarantee you, Tony, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but I bet you Tony's got a little bit of a military record there with that one.
High-speed, low drag.
I used to love just walking down like a barracks or like a random military building out on a post somewhere, and just hearing like an officer, like a higher level enlisted man, yell out to like some private that was clearly like messing up somehow. Hey, come here, high speed. I used to hear it all the time. What are we doing? We're walking with our hands in our pockets now? That's cool, huh? Oh, cool. Let's just wear our hats sideways, huh?
Tony says, yes, I do.
Tony had you pegged from a mile away, brother. Appreciate your service.
Well, we don't really have much else going tonight besides just doing this run. So it's really just going to be a lot of chit chat tonight.
Yeah.
A lot of BS, which I guess that's pretty much par.
A lot of yapping.
They like the yapping.
That's pretty much what we do.
I'll probably, maybe when we go to intermission, I'll probably browse the liquor closet over here and maybe just go through and find something, a little something I've been wanting to try and just haven't.
There you go.
Use it as a good excuse to drink more.
I mean, it's.
Yeah.
Do you need a reason? But that's a good one.
Yeah. Joe Klein
is in the house.
You the goober. Joe's the man.
Yeah. Joe Klein, local hero, local celebrity, local.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Videographer phenom.
I think they call him Joe Primetime Klein.
That's. I've heard him called that lots of times.
Sounds about right.
Heard that in passing.
Sounds about right.
Nice still, looks expensive. Cheap shit ain't cool, and cool shit ain't cheap. That's all I can say about it. That's a $2,500 rig.
This is a North Georgia Fat 10, and it has a lot of the upgrades on it that you can get there at North Georgia still. And as of when they shipped it to us, about a $2,500 still.
Joe Park says, is there anything you haven't tried? I haven't rode the duck boats, which...
Oh, man.
Yeah. Just all the bad publicity and deaths.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, you
I
haven't
missed
heard
them
of
all.
Wait, really?
You're talking about the amphibious vehicles when you say duck boat?
So, yeah, you're not aware that those are like highly publicized as like killing anywhere from 2 to 30 people at once?
No, I rode so many of them when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
That is remarkable. Yeah, they have been stewed into the earth. I couldn't imagine that they still have an insurance company that carries them, but they're still around. I mean, they're still in business. Every time I go to Hot Springs, we're always like, let's ride the duck boats. Everyone's like, oh, you want to die?
What's the problem with them? Do they turn over? Or?
Well, they are metal cages that hold people inside and go out on the water is the main problem.
A metal cage? Oh, I don't think we're talking about this. Well, the ones I rode never had a metal cage. It was just a amphibious, like it was a boat that had wheels.
With like a roof?
No. Didn't have, they were open.
Yeah, the ones
like convertible. They were like convertible.
Yeah, these are not. These have a roof and windows.
You're trapped in.
Yeah, it looks like a school bus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've not ridden one of those.
The cool thing about them is you can get a cool tour of a city and a lake and also early access to a watery grave.
Right.
Yeah. That's what's really neat about them.
Jones locker.
Yeah. 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 Fun for the whole family.
So Flatland asks, how are we liking the little pot? We're loving it so far. Doing great. This is only the first official run. We did a
main voyage.
We did a sack run. Let's see.
We did one of those in college. It was a different type activity, but
oh yeah. Joe says he's about to start another batch. Messed up the last 3 somehow.
You'll have that.
He's talking about wine. Joe is learning how to make wine. Jeffrey ordered a wheated bourbon kit today, man. Appreciate the business. We'll get that shipped out to you. Frankie Dunham, keg still with stainless steel condenser, 7 gallons or 14 gallons. It also gets funky on the 6th or 7th jar. How do I get more out of it without it? Without the funkiness, probably, I guess. Getting smelly at the end of the run. So,
that's
yeah,
normal.
Yeah, the end of the run does get smelly. And
I wonder if he's making cuts.
Yeah, so you have to make cuts. I don't know how much you understand about the process, Frankie, but a 15-gallon keg still, if you want to get more from it, one way is to increase the ABV. One way is to do like stripping runs and then a spirit run.
Double distillation.
There's really a lot of comments in that one single question.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm waiting for the diapers to start rolling in from everybody looking at the question.
Depends.
Get some diapers in the chat.
Diapers in the chat.
Yeah, Frankie, that's a lot kind of rolled into one, and the honest, quick answer is one. It depends.
It depends.
There's several factors you're playing with there, and probably need some more info, maybe more of a finite. It is odd though that you always seem to notice that on the 6th or 7th jar, running 7 gallons. I mean, if you
might be running the same recipe each time, and what size jars are we talking about? Quarts, pints. Tony says, Jeffrey, you're going to love that kit. Awesome.
There's Joe with the diaper.
Scott's from North Carolina in here. Scott Bryant, good to see you, brother.
Is there a smiley face on that diaper?
There is.
Oh. I like that.
Yeah.
David says they had a duck boat crash up here in Seattle about 6-7 years ago that killed people.
Pretty common. Pretty common story.
Are you live on TikTok?
Yep.
Are we? There's so many words you can't say over there that YouTube.
At some point, man, it just doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Hey, we've got 6 over there, though.
Oh. Benjamin said, "Sorry, I'm late, brother. Just don't let it happen again. It'll be okay."
We don't give out demerits for the first tardy.
Yeah. Second one though.
Our free thinker is back. Backwoods is back. Good to see everybody in the chat. I did get some new custom emojis for the YouTube channel members.
Yeah.
Got those loaded up. There's like a what the fuck is in there, and there is got a little copper still in there now.
Looks
Thought
like
that might be fun.
Windsong just dropped a bunch of them.
Oh, you're ahead of us over there.
Yeah, we haven't seen that yet.
Ooh, I like
Our chat's on a bit of a delay.
Is it?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Joe,
shit.
I'm using Social Stream Ninja.
Stephen Warner asks, has anybody tried to design an air-cooled condenser? Got a few ideas, but nothing positive yet. I have not.
I don't know why it wouldn't work. You have an air like a radiator.
Yeah. Now
I have a fan blowing.
Yeah.
I have a fan blowing across it. I'm sure it would work just fine. Works for an engine. So
Yeah. Well, especially this time of year. I mean, cool air is in no short supply in most places.
yeah,
so.
right now. Michael's got the George Washington rye on the way. Looking forward to trying it. George Washington was family. Well, that's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Oh man, just name dropping founding father.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. The most famous relative I have is Teddy Pendergrass, the R&B singer.
Is that true?
No.
That'd be pretty neat.
I have a storied family history.
Paul McKinley asks, what the fuck does the diaper thing even mean? That is because so many times people put questions in the chat and the first words out of our mouths are, well, it depends. And so Depend is a brand of adult diaper. So I put a diaper in there.
Yeah. Also, Cyrus getting up there in age, and we're looking for every potential sponsor that we can get.
I think I could be a good sponsor for Depends at this point in my life. Joe's been thinking about the unbreakable hydrometer idea.
Yeah, I really want to work hard with someone on that. I don't know where to start or what to do, and I need whoever I'm working with to do most of the work on it. But I thought a metal hydrometer that was like etched, kind of engraved almost.
Yeah.
Or like laser engraved. But I don't know the first thing about them, and I'm sure density plays a large part in the finite world of measuring sugar displacement.
It isn't a large part. It is the
main part, right?
The part.
I think that there's probably a pretty solid reason on why there's not one out there.
Yeah. It would be like this big around.
Yeah, I think.
Or it would be like this tall to get the
need a
density
large
right.
vessel. Like you could do a whole batch at once with it. You never break it though. You could beat intruders out of your home with it, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Double duty.
It's a fun thought experiment.
Well, and also like they're weighted at the bottom. Okay, right?
Right.
So maybe just like you can use less weight and like aluminum's not that heavy.
Right.
Make one out of aluminum. It could work. There's a world out there, like it's not impossible. We put people on the moon, we can't make a metal hydrometer.
Yeah.
Or shit.
Well,
We can do it.
I really like where Joe's at.
I think Joe's
Plastic.
barking up the right tree.
What did she
I
say?
do too. Yeah, that's the best way to prototype. That's the best way to start. I mean, you could have someone 3D print that for you.
Hard plastic.
Yeah.
Jerton G Psi L6B said too close to the mic. Brother,
I don't know.
I have a voice volume problem. Okay.
His range
Here, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna.
is unequalizable.
Is this any better?
You sounded good.
Is this
Where
any?
you were.
Is
I
this?
don't know.
You've struck a nerve because I am very self-conscious about the fact that I yell when I just speak normally. So I'll try to get better at that.
You just
sound
get a
great.
little excited.
Okay, this
that's
sounds
all.
better now.
It sounds the same,
Yeah. Oh, okay. Fair enough.
which was good.
There you go, boss. Tex has a question for you.
Text. Any advice on how many apples for a 5-gallon wine batch? I'd like to use 2 to 3 gallon of apple juice, just not sure how many apples. Well, this was 4.5 gallons of store-bought apple juice with 24 pounds of apples that were pressed, cut, squeezed, repressed, cut, manipulated, every drop out of them we could get. Yeah. 24 pounds of apples produced about a little over 3/4 gallon of juice. So,
And he may be just asking, like, he's going to use apple juice and he wants to put apples in the ferment. Just,
oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it depends, right? So a 5-gallon wine batch, I'm going back to the chart that I look up, and I think 5 pounds per gallon, if you were using only water and a primary fermentation with like maybe 12-ish pounds of sugar, would probably be right in there on the money somewhere.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, apples are one of those things that are kind of tricky, and they don't have a lot of water content. And if you blend them and just put the pulp in in your fermentation, like,
yeah.
see any problem with that?
Richard says, supposedly there's a shatterproof hydrometer out there now.
I'm about to show you.
Oh, the atom is already on it.
What's it made out of?
Polycarbonate, plastic.
Hard plastic, like Joe said.
Wow.
Nailed it, Joe. Only $18.
Not bad.
Never have to worry
Not
about
bad at
breaking
all.
it again. That'd be kind of worth it.
Not bad at all.
Start looking at this.
Is that a triple scale? Yeah, that's I can't tell.
Proof and trail, I believe.
Triple scale.
Fair enough.
Free thinker. I have the same problem, brother. I talk loud. People think I'm yelling. It's just me talking.
Feels like I'm part Italian some days.
Kim, good to see you in the chat. Our night is going fantastic. Glad you're here. We are just running some apple brandy in there behind us and chatting while we do it. Brandy still works in brewings in the house. How's it going, brother?
Michael asks, can you freeze or air dry apples to get more sugars involved?
I'm not aware that air drying them does anything. I know freezing them actually does a little bit to break open the cell walls so that you do get a little bit of extra flavor and sugar from them.
Blend them as finely as you can. By whatever means, I use a blender and use pectic enzyme. That's how I would attack
the
it.
best way to do it. Ricky, howdy fellas. What can I buy one of those ball caps for? Well, they're not for sale yet. They're not for sale yet because I think we're going to revamp the logo. I've been thinking that now for like 2 months and haven't got around to it.
You probably can't tell. State of Arkansas is the outline there. But we're thinking about redoing that part of it, make it more
nationalistic. Very nationalistic.
Let's not get political here, man. Yeah, so we're thinking about just kind of reworking them. This was just a limited run of 2 hats.
Just a little test run, that's all it was.
That said, I wear the heck out of mine. I wouldn't mind having another one.
Well, Ricky, the thing is, The name that we went with in the beginning is Arkansas Brewers and Vintners Society. We're thinking about changing that to the American Brewers and Vintners Society. Instead of making it a small local club, we might expand it. And it still fits the ABV Society acronym.
Want my ABV?
Well, I'll have them available soon.
Look at that.
maybe
Should be American Brewers and Vintners.
Right.
The Duke from the top rope.
Yeah. So that is what we're changing it to, but I just haven't redone the design because American Brewers and Vintners Society doesn't work with an Arkansas state logo. Like that just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Willie Bubba did it. Wondering how date wine tastes, making a bit at the moment. I don't know. I've never had any.
I wonder too.
Wonder if it would help you BM.
Yeah, I would say so.
My wife made some chocolate date caramel things you put in the freezer, and they're like a little tiny Heath bar. And I had 3 of those in a night, and I regretted it. I'll just say that. I'll leave it at that.
It was a bad idea.
They work. I mean, they're not jacking around. They work. Powerfully strong stuff there.
Jar number 5. I won't forget to let y'all.
He said, I hope so.
Yes.
I need a good BM. You plugged up, Bubba? Bubba Willie Bubba did it?
Willie Bubba did is plugged up.
Willie Bubba didn't do it.
He didn't do it yet.
That name reminds me of gas station Crispitos, which I love.
Those are good.
Oh my god. Chicken and cheese. Little
Very
chicken
good.
and cheese
I don't
Crispito.
want to know what's in it.
No.
Who needs to know?
Oh.
I'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Winsong says in all caps, bubbles.
Bubbles.
Bubbles, please.
Please. Yes.
Always on my butt about them bubbles.
Jesus.
And then never throws out a guess either. There are the bubbles.
Ooh.
Good shot.
My bubbles are your bubbles, Bubba.
Look at those big old beads there.
I eat gas station sushi. I ain't scared. There's very little in a gas station hot box that is beneath.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of a fan of gas stations.
Gizzards, livers. Like,
I like that truck stop over there now. That's pretty good stuff.
are you talking about
over there.
Workman's?
Yeah,
Yeah, Orton's is good.
yeah.
They got boudin balls.
Oh, do they really?
Oh my god.
Jack,
They're really good.
What?
143. Tony, 146. Backwoods, 142. Workman's is best. Steve Chadwick, Mr. Radio Man himself, is in the house. Good to see you, brother.
The Valero on Zero has one of the most immaculate hot boxes. I mean,
really?
row after row after row.
I have not checked that one out.
They got gizzards, they've got livers, they've got everything, all the normal stuff. And then all the standard chicken strips and egg rolls, corn dogs, got popcorn chicken. What? They got they got everything.
$130-ish, 156, 150. Does that place in Paris still deep fry corn? I don't know. I don't know the place you're talking about, Steve.
I know what was it, the Derriette over in Paris? That place was bitchin'.
Paul says they
I
have
don't
the
know.
best fried fish at a gas station in Jonesboro.
Oh, there is a gas station in West Memphis that is like countrywide known for their hot box. Yeah, I got in a deep hole the other day on
don't know.
TikTok, and dude, apparently it looked also very very clean. Staff looked friendly. The hot box was a mile long.
Jeez.
Looked like 4 different options on egg rolls, stuffed with all kinds of different stuff from like pork, chicken. I think they had a boudin egg roll, which I was really like.
That could be a problem for someone.
Oh yeah, no,
Could ruin your whole life. Well, let's have the conversation between the guy that thinks that store in Memphis should have a hot box, and the manager who's not having it. Like that sounds like. How do you go from like every gas station has a hot box and they're all pretty much close to the same to having one that's that is like a buffet line?
I think it's just a small encroachment on just like, hey, let's try it. This went over well. Let's add 40 other items.
I mean, people seem to like the egg rolls. We could breakfast egg rolls.
Ooh. Yeah, my breakfast egg roll wouldn't.
That's nice.
I love a breakfast burrito.
I think how it probably happened is the guy talked his boss into letting him put in a hot box. The boss was like, I don't know if this is going to work. And then he said, all right, maybe we'll do something. But he took a vacation like 3 days later after putting this guy in charge of the hot box. And the guy just went like, well, I mean, if you're going to do it, right?
Yeah, do it big.
Do it big.
Crab rangoon. We got to get off this. I'm getting a little jazzed up right now.
Terry says we're very entertaining. Thank you, Terry.
Thanks.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
be awesome.
So real fat there for a minute, just real quick. I don't know what. I feel like I blacked out there for a minute when we were talking about the hot boxes.
So yeah.
But fell into a food coma for a minute. So it was 128, and I saw that Willie Bubba Did It said 130-ish, and he was closer than anybody with the 130-ish.
He was.
Oh man,
Bragging rights only.
He was indeed.
SD Tecker is looking for some recipes, and he just got hooked up with the queen. She is the She is the flavor queen there. She can really get it hooked up.
Yeah, I got to start doing some more videos of her recipes. People seem to really like them.
Why the filter?
Frankie, we let these breathe overnight, sometimes longer, unintentionally, but this just let it sit like this overnight, and that just allows the more volatile alcohols to kind of evaporate off. Taste and smell is different the next day.
Completely changes. Like I can taste them and make. Now, sometimes, don't get me wrong. If I get into a jar that's clearly in the middle of the hearts, and I take a little sip out of it right after it comes off the still, like sometimes you just know, like, oh, that's gonna be a great jar. Mm-hmm. But for the majority of it, well, a lot of them, especially on the fringes of the hearts, what is a maybe today may very easily just be a like keep tomorrow.
Hell no.
Yeah, it could go the other way. But that's kind of the method there. Proof fell off fast.
Yeah, I did. I also did speed it up just a little bit to get like a solid stream. So that might have done it. Of course, maybe there's not as much ABV in there as we thought, but I don't think that's the case.
Well, and to be fair, we're talking about 6 gallons of apple wine that started at 1070 and worked all the way down.
So it was 9.25% ABV.
Yeah. So let's round that up to 10 on 6 gallons. Like there's 0.6 gallons plus a half pint that we threw in the thumper of neutral spirit of 200 proof. It's coming off at like 148, 150 up there at the front. So yeah, we'll be doing good. We'll be doing good to pull a gallon out of this. Mm-hmm. I mean, we shouldn't get a gallon probably, but we may.
Yeah. The in-store app rules for Apple do not allow you to join the YouTube channel. You have to do it from a browser, dude.
Yep. You got to back out of, if you're using the YouTube app, get out of that, go to Google Chrome, Safari, whatever, and search YouTube. Go click into it. Don't switch over to your app. Type in the Still in the Clear channel and join that way, and you're not going to have an issue. I don't want to, again, like, I don't know the political climate right now. There could be an Elon Musk internet barrier at this point.
All the memes, like, it's crazy politically. Like, the memes get crazier and crazier every year. It doesn't matter who's in office. Doesn't, like, none of that matters.
By memes, do you mean just real life?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, some real life in there too. But
I saw today that they're talking about giving like a dividend, a Doge dividend,
Really?
on like all the money that they're saving and cutting out of budgets and
$5
stuff.
grand to each of us.
yeah,
I'd be,
I mean, I'm not going to
It's-
say no.
I mean, I don't think I'll qualify, but I think you might have to be.
I
think you might have to have paid taxes
Yeah, you do.
sooner than like.
okay.
Nip that in the bud.
This is all parody here.
Just a joke.
It's a joke.
Just a
I'm
joke.
kidding. Paul McKinley found one of the new emojis, the MFB emoji.
Does anyone have an especially good place to order jars online?
If you're talking about like mason jars, I've never been able to find them online cheaper than I can just go get them at Walmart.
Yeah. Walmart, your hardware store, they're generally going to be more expensive at your hardware store than you can get them at Walmart. But I mean, by the time I haven't gone on Amazon and looked or anything, but I mean, if you have Amazon Prime and they ship them to you for free, there's potentially maybe a good deal out there somewhere, but
Maybe.
Walmart's pretty hard to beat.
Yeah.
You'd be talking about pennies per jar if you could find them anywhere cheaper than what Walmart sells them for,
Mm-hmm.
I would think.
Yeah.
No, again today, Terry, brother.
I saw somewhere up there Winsong said she was going to, I guess, send her recipe book to the shop for us.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
that'd be cool.
A little binder with recipes in it.
Travel flasks are cheaper.
Travel flasks are cheap.
I feel like they'd be very difficult to like fill at any meaningful amount.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the largest I've seen is 16 ounces, and that's
I'm talking about that narrow little nozzle that you got to
Oh,
put
yeah.
everything
You'd be
they
into.
come with a
funneling.
funnel.
You'd be funneling a lot.
Yeah.
Or the big syringe that we use.
Well, at that point, like, how big can the neck be? Like, how long does it take you to fill one of those up?
It doesn't take long.
I don't like it.
I've filled it.
I don't like it.
I
I'm
don't
just going
like
to go
your
on record.
suggestion.
I don't like it.
No comments from the peanut gallery. Thank you.
Oh, God.
Terry said he's getting snow again today. We are not. We got snow for like a 24-hour period, kind of shut things down for a day, and everything's back to normal, I think, now.
Did your breakfast bourbon turn out good, and how long did you have it on oak before you started drinking it? Two different answers for that one.
Yeah, so it came out great, and we aged two separately. One of them we aged with just medium charred oak for 5 weeks. The other one we aged for 9 weeks with medium charred oak and a medium or a light toast, no, medium toasted oak. And
Let's mess that part up.
I think that one came. What's your opinion? I think the second one turned out better.
Well, I don't know better. I honestly don't know if I have a preference between the first or the last because they're different.
They're both great.
But they're both very, very good. I think for me, the first one was slightly lower proof and a little lighter on the oak, right? Like first one's 85, second one's 90.
I think so.
And I think the first one is maybe a slightly smoother sipper with less woody notes.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest with you, depending on my night and what else I'm drinking with it. Like there is a better situation for one versus the other. Just depending on what I'm drinking, what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Nick Haas is asking that question. I see that Jack is also answering that question. Maybe Nick wasn't even asking us. Maybe that was just an inner chat question.
Could have been.
Could have been.
Could have been.
Got answers from both of us. So, yeah, if you haven't done the breakfast bourbon, you should definitely do it. It's such an easy recipe that turns out pretty dadgum good for an easy recipe.
Ooh, this is a cool one. Stephen Warner, currently making a still out of an old 100-cup electric percolator.
That's
Nice.
pretty cool.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love a good percolator too.
Yeah.
Old little stovetop. Like a little
Absolutely.
noise sing to you. Mm-hmm.
Jason Acosta has jumped in the chat. Good to see you, brother.
Breakfast cereal is good shit, oaked or not. I'd have to agree. I like the way it came off raw.
Yeah, wasn't bad. It's really good. Surprisingly good recipe. It kind of surprised
Pretty
me.
crazy, yeah. What's up, Jason, down there in Louisiana?
Joe Parks is hitting the breakfast cereal right now.
Oh,
I think it's one of Joe's favorites because she's sipping on it
she
all the
loves
time.
it. Yeah, I don't blame her too. It does turn out pretty awesome. I'm working on sour mash run from the BCB, says Jack. Is that a federal holding facility in Saskatchewan?
Yep.
Okay.
Retired from there.
I did my nickel. I did not.
David, we put just a concentrate in the thumper, just like 2 pints or something. I don't know how those things are measured. Little juice concentrate. He asked what we charge the thumper with.
I'd say 2 pints, yeah.
2 pints of strawberry, kiwi, apple concentrate,
Yep.
just from the grocery store, and like half a pint of some neutral spirit.
Yep.
I don't know. He's also asking if you plan on aging this. You going to age this at all, or?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we'll see tomorrow. I mean, I don't. A lot of times, I don't have a particular plan in place for anything that we run until it's ran and I taste it.
Yeah.
I think that there is a world where I could age some of this if I thought it turned out pretty spectacular off the still. Not to say that if it's good, really good, that I wouldn't mind just post flavoring and playing around with just some apple pie or maybe split it up and do apple caramel. I mean, it depends on what I'm drinking at the house and what I'm low on and what I need more of. And,
Right.
I mean, it's just very situational for me.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it has most to do with how good I think it is when it comes off the still. Like the last apple brandy that you guys may or may not have seen us run that I made from some apple wine and some apple cider. Looking back on that, I wish I would have kept a quart out to age.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not the whole run, but yeah.
Donnie Stanbridge is in the house over there on TikTok. Good to see you, brother.
What's up, Donnie?
Anybody got a favorite commercial bourbon?
Paul already hit.
I do not.
Paul already hit. Like my favorite, that's my favorite daily driver. Cheap, doesn't break the bank, nothing wrong with it. Really good. Four Roses. Regular Four Roses, single barrel. They're all awesome. But yeah, I couldn't agree more with Paul there on that one.
Matt says he ran some breakfast cereal today and liked it.
Well, hell yeah.
I've yet to have someone say, I did that breakfast cereal. Not my thing.
I have heard nothing.
Actually, what baby was that? Shane? Yeah, not my thing. No, that was the Pachuga.
Yeah, well.
No, he
Sorry,
tried something that someone else brought in the store, and he was like, I don't think that.
Broken Tool Garage, you still in here, brother?
Yeah.
Let us know.
What was that you tried? And you were like, that's not me. That's not, no.
Saint Abaya says, do you think a 12-pack of beer would make a good spirit? I don't see why it couldn't.
I mean, if you made it neutral, I don't know, like the hops in
Depends on the beer.
I mean, the hops in beer, I don't think transfers well
Really?
to a spirit. I don't think so.
was,
I mean, you could take any beer and you turn it into a neutral, and then it's.
I was
doesn't
curious
matter.
about that question. I started Googling about distilling beer. Apparently, they call it beer schnapps.
Beer schnapps, okay.
Although there seems to be some debate about it might just be whiskey also. I don't know. That doesn't.
I mean, it would technically
Is
be
it
whiskey.
technically
Well,
whiskey?
it's made with
Depends,
grain.
yeah, it depends on
made what it's made. But yeah, I guess there is a world where it's called beer schnapps, and so
Okay.
I'll have
It's
to look.
it's super common. I mean, guys do it frequently. I mean, there's guys. I mean, you could probably go on YouTube and find hundreds of videos of guys distilling beer.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll give you a little wiki here.
A little wiki here.
All right.
Beer blend. Beer schnapps.
So, required to contain at least 38% ABV and retain flavor profile of beer. Traditional in Bavaria, where small brewers would convert excess or leftover beer into a spirit with longer shelf life. I'm interested in that. I want to try that.
I had a this is somewhat related, somewhat not related. I had a beer in Guernsey, Wyoming. There is a local brewery right down the road from a bakery. They would take the leftover donuts and ferment them and make, I'm not kidding you, one of the best cream ales out of donuts. I mean, it's like I don't think I've ever had another donut beer other than that one, but it was like one of the best beers I've ever had in my life.
Oh, nice.
A little unknown microbrewery in Guernsey, Wyoming, and it was just like, whew.
The one.
Oh my God, it was great.
Nice.
Mike and Crystal Moonshine says, I did some Fruity Pebble and it turned out pretty good. Awesome. Wheaties makes moonshine of champions. There you go.
Gordon's asked, you ever aged in a bad motivator barrel?
Have not done it yet.
Got some.
Yeah. I keep saying I'm gonna. I haven't done it. That list of things I keep saying I'm gonna do and haven't done it yet is long. Winsong likes Pendleton. That is her favorite.
Pendleton's great. I like, oh God, Woodford
I like
Reserve.
Pendleton too. Pendleton's good. Woodford Reserve is good.
Woodford Reserve is fantastic.
That beginner bourbon kit.
Yeah.
Kind of what I tried. That's what I was aiming for.
I can see that.
kit. Yeah.
I can see that. I love running moonshine in the winter. It's my time of year. Old Forester, he's not wrong about that Old Forester either.
I've had that one.
Old Forester's great. I like the blue label. I don't know which one it is. It's the lower tier, like it's $20 a fifth. Like it's $23
Yeah.
It's great. Don't run hops and copper. Duly noted. Mike Widener says, still in the clear, new to the group, but I like what I see so far. I made some peach brandy out of wine. I used toasted oak chips, and it turned out delicious.
Awesome.
What do you mean by you like what you see, brother?
Talking about our appearance.
Oh.
Thank you for the answer. I run a Blackberry Mountain Brandy. I age some of it and fortify some of it with blackberry wine. That sounds pretty good, actually. Fortified blackberry wine.
Michael Anderson says, I work in remodeling, and I found a shit ton of liquor in a house, and I redistilled it. It was good for what it was.
I mean,
That's pretty cool.
free is, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be too good when it's free. Kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about Coors.
I feel that way about a lot of
If you
things.
give me some, I'll drink it.
Harmonicers. Busch is my preferred go-to light beer. That's just years of what I've had.
Buying the cheapest beer we could get our hands on.
Well, Milwaukee's best. There was a time
Yeah.
early on. Milwaukee's best. Yeah, Keystone was definitely in there. There was a good ass beer that they were selling for a long time that was not bad. It had a donkey on it. It was literally called Good Ass Beer. It was good.
I've never had that one.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still around or not, but
Paul McKinley says, "What do we do? Distill unhopped beer?" Well, that's supposed to be off.
son of a bitch.
That's my nightly spam call. Let's see if I can turn this stuff off.
Hello, Moto.
I should probably choose a ringtone, huh? Had that phone now for 5 months. Haven't chosen a ringtone yet. Anyway, so Terry asks, or Paul asks, what do we do? Distill unhopped beer? Well, no. Technically, we don't, because unhopped beer is not called beer. There's another name for it.
What is it?
Google that for me. What's a beer called when it doesn't include hops? It's a really weird name, like grog or
Really?
something like that. So if it doesn't have any hops in it, it's not called beer anyway.
It's called Gruit.
Gruit. I knew it had a weird name, yeah.
I would have
Never heard that before.
Grog made a lot more sense.
The word Gruit comes from Flemish or Dutch and refers to a blend of herbs and spices.
Hate that.
You'd hate that.
Mike Wagner says I got a few bad mo's aging some UJSSM with rye added.
That's going to turn out pretty good.
Sure.
Jesus. Oh, that one filled fast. Popped back up there. I didn't see a single jar emoji in the chat.
Oh, they didn't.
Worked so hard on that jar emoji.
They didn't use the emoji.
No.
Little oil floating on the top of that one.
Yeah, we are near the end of the run. This one's going to be quite a bit lower than that 128, I bet.
Mm. So right now I am fermenting some honey and agave. Does anyone have experience with a mead shine? Asks Saint Abaya. You've ran some mead before, haven't you? Sugar shine? Honey shine, I mean?
Not a honey shine. I haven't run it.
It's called Honey Shine. If you get on the YouTube or the interwebs and you do a quick little search for Honey Shine, I bet you can find some contento.
All right. What do we got?
Yeah.
96, 98, 96, 95, 95, 85, 102, 92, 100, 98. All right. Don't worry, baby. I'm going to shake it.
You ain't even got to tell us.
Oh, that looks good.
There it is. 107, 89, 86, 110. $103, 104. I think you should run this one all the way out. I think you're going to find a special jar down there in this one.
Yeah.
Judging by the smell. So this jar came out at 116.
116. Had a little bit of a taper off on the drop from jar 4 to 5. Went from 148 to 125.
128.
128. So drop down there 20 proof and then drop down less than 10. So
Looks like David Thompson is closest, 110.
David Thompson wins the trophy
Congratulations,
for
David.
best proof guesser on jar 6.
Well, heck yeah. Well, it is 6:06. What do you guys say we take a little brief intermission here? You guys can get a second opportunity to watch the intro video, which shows us working with that beautiful still back there. And when you guys get back, I'll be rehydrated here. I'm going to go ahead and pick something off the shelf, give it a taste. I don't know if it'll be a bourbon, a wine, a mead, a mellow, a sizer, vodka, pachuga,
Right, we got a few
Christmas
choices.
dinner.
Got a few choices.
I don't know. We'll find something though. When we come back, we'll give it a try for you, and yeah, we'll be back here shortly.
See you guys in a bit.
All right.
We are back, and what are we running today?
We got apple brandy.
Apple brandy.
We made some apple wine. I think it was going to turn out, and make a fine wine, but it is just very hard to beat a good apple brandy, and I get excited about them. I don't know. It's like every time I run an apple, I just want to turn it into brandy.
Hell yeah. How'd you make the brandy? Or how'd you make the apple wine?
So we had 4.5 gallon of store-bought apple juice, 24 pounds of apples that we cored, and we ended up putting 4 pounds of sugar and pectic enzyme, EC1118 yeast. We had a starting gravity of 1070, and it worked all the way down.
And you completely pressed those apples. You got every bit of juice out of those apples you could.
Yeah, it's
24 pounds got you
slightly under a gallon. I pressed them in a huge press, took them out, cut them up, put them in a bag, cut them up some more, mashed them, and ended up trying to get every drop out of them, and ended up with a little over 3/4 of a gallon of juice.
Yeah. Awesome.
So
So we're gonna put all of this in there, which this is a 6-gallon carboy?
That is a 5-gallon carboy, and then we got a 1 gallon there. I ended up with, I started off in a bigger 6.5 gallon, and by the time I racked, it just kind of made more sense to go. I've been watching the headspace. Doesn't matter, does not matter. I don't know. There's a video on the Homebrew Center YouTube about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so ended up with 6 gallon. And, we've got some concentrate there we're going to throw off in our thumper.
Yeah.
Run me through that process a little bit.
So your thumper has to come up to temperature, just like your pot has to come up to temperature. And so we are going to preheat these. We're going to start the still, let it start getting up to temperature. And just before it gets up to temperature, we're going to heat these up on the electric skillet, put them in there at like 160 degrees, clamp this off. That way, when vapor starts coming over into this pot, there's no real preheating that has to take place here. And that's just going to shorten our runtime. If we didn't preheat what goes in, then you just add more time, because this pot has to come up to temperature also before it allows vapor to start coming through the worm.
Now, let me ask you this. Say we were just to dump that off in there cold. Is this going to steam up and come down in here? Is it going to elevate our liquid level to a place where we don't want that much liquid in the thumper? Is that going to be an issue? Or?
I mean, if you have undersized thumpers, that's definitely an issue. We do not have an undersized thumper with this still, so it wouldn't be an issue even if we did it that way. All we're really doing is saving time.
Nice.
And we're just adding some extra concentrate in here just to try and pull a little extra flavor over. There's all kinds of variables that have to do with, our heads are going to pull some of that flavor out. We're going to strip some of that flavor with our heads. But this is just kind of like, this is a maiden voyage for this still. We've already done the sacrificial run. This is the first real run on the North Georgia Fat 10. So we're pretty excited about it. We're going to see what we're going to get.
This thing's gorgeous, man. We've got it sitting out in the shop, and people come in and they're always kind of oogling it, and man, it's a pretty old thing, and I'm excited to run a little apple brandy through it.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Grab a beer. grab a whiskey, sit down, enjoy the show.
Just wanted to let you know that Still in the Clear now offers heirloom corns. We've got the Hickory King White, we've got the Bloody Butcher, we've got the Jimmy Red, we've got a hybrid non-GMO blue corn, we've got the trucker's favorite white corn. And if you've been wanting to try some of these corns and add a distinctively different flavor to your moonshine, other than just a regular old yellow corn, you definitely want to try these out. You can go to stillintheclear.com/shop, click on the category heirloom corns and see everything we have to offer. You can get it in 10-pound batches. You can also get them straight from the Homebrew Center shop if you're local to the Fort Smith area. And we also offer bulk purchases in store at Homebrew Center where you can get a great deal on a 50-pound bag. That is pickup only. But if you want to try some of these great corns shipped straight to your door at a great price, check them out. Stillintheclear.com.
The perfect shine, some say, is all about the water, or about the best corn or their secret mash bill. For others, it's about a great still and a lot of copper in the process. The best distillers and moonshiners know that the pursuit of the perfect shine is more about the sum total of each great part, not any one thing. The North Georgia Still Company is a great place to pursue your perfect. You won't find a better still. The materials, craftsmanship, and attention to detail in every still they make, regardless of size, is the finest that money can buy. Need awesome grains, enzymes, yeast, or other accessories for making mash or distilling it? They've got that too. The North Georgia Still Company is all about turning water into shine. Go ahead, get your shine on.
We're back.
And we're back. I'm back. Zach is still searching for his next drink.
Let's see here.
What did I miss in the chat? Sorry about that.
This seems like a good candidate.
Worked all last night and hadn't gone to sleep yet. Like a champ tonight. Yeah.
I love that feeling where you just
Those
know
all-nighters will do it.
whenever you eventually get to lay down, like I'm gonna sleep.
What is that? Is that the rum?
No.
What is that?
This is another little something on the back shelf. This is a GWR from September that was aged on a charred hillbilly lid and a medium toast stick. We put this one up and kind of forgot about
I
it.
forgot about that one. Have we even tried that one yet?
No, it doesn't. I don't think so.
Doesn't look like it.
Well, it's settled out some stuff on the bottom there.
Filter that again.
Gonna have to filter that again. It's had 10, 11, 12, 1. It's had 5 months to sit. So, see what we got here. I love the GWR too. And what's crazy is I was never a rye whiskey. I could never find one that I liked. There was something about them. And the GWR though, which I'm typically having clear and unaged. I'll be curious to see, do I like this one as much as I like the just clear?
White note.
Yep.
Jeffrey asks, is y'all's blue corn like the blue hoppy? Blue hoppy. Oh, no, it's hoppy. To be honest with you, Jeffrey, I'm not sure. I've never used the blue hoppy. This is a hybrid blue corn, non-GMO, and we're going to find out.
Yeah,
find out what it's like.
We're going to be playing with a lot of these corns and experimenting, just like I think a lot of the orders that have come through already on the pre-orders for the corn. I think there's guys getting 10 pound of this, 10 pound of this, 10 pound of this that are just kind of looking to play around with it.
Yeah.
And yes, sir. So I'm excited to kind of start messing with a little bit of some of that stuff and see, you know, when you blend this with that at certain ratios, can you kind of hit that sweet stride of
Right.
that it's hard to beat.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited to try some of them myself. So for those of you that are in the chat that don't know, we are offering heirloom corns. We're just introducing them, and we're running a special right now. First of all, they have introductory prices, so they're on sale already. And from now until Monday, we're also offering a discount code, a 10% off. So you get the introductory price plus another 10% off if you order with the coupon code CORN10.
CORN10.
That's CORN10. So if you're wanting to try some of these heirloom corns, now's the time to try them out because it's a real good price right now. You can't get it at that price anywhere else. I don't.
No. Not with a discount
Unless you're buying
code.
like 50 pounds at a time.
Yeah. If you were to walk into our store and, you know, buy a 50-pound bag, you could get it at a little bit better price. Yeah, but it's the shipping and the, you know, breaking it down and vacuum sealing it and get it out. And so, yeah, pretty cool. I'm very excited about it. I'm really curious to play with the Bloody Butcher and the Jimmy Red, like taking those two and kind of just using different amounts for mashes. And I'm curious that when they pull those mashes off, that liquid just looks so cool.
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to do a Jimmy Red bourbon.
Yeah. Yeah. Jimmy Blood bourbon. Bloody Jimmy.
All right, let's try this out.
Who we got here? Got that GWR familiar smell to it. Got a lot of that wood coming through
I'm
too.
trying to pull out of that. That I recognize there that I can't.
Ooh, talk about damn smooth.
That is very smooth.
Holy shoot.
I like that.
That is crazy smooth.
Oh, wow.
That's good.
Damn.
Well, we'll have to be making some more of that.
We're not going to be forgetting that one.
Good
That
grief.
was a good shelf full.
What the heck?
I try to give myself kudos here, but that was a good shelf full.
What's our ABV here?
That's just been sitting in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hidden.
What the hell?
Well, I mean, we've got so much crap laying around here, sitting everywhere, stacked on this shelf and that shelf and in the back and up front. And
Any of you guys ever get the opportunity to come by here in person and hang out with Cyrus and I know a lot of people live from distance and it's harder. It's easier for some than others.
locals.
Come try some yourself. And that is...
ABV.
I don't know what this one proofed out to. You didn't write it down there. I would say the GWR normally turns out, well, I don't know if you...
Well, I don't remember if I proofed it or if you did. If I proof things down, it's usually between 85 and 90. I don't know.
This was in September. You proofed this.
So it's probably between 85 and 90. I didn't write it on the
Nice.
tape. But
Oh, Uncle Moonshine. What's up, brother?
Matt Perry asks, what's GWR? GWR stands for a George Washington Rye. It's one of the kits we have on the website. It's a clone of the George Washington Rye recipe. It's a very good recipe.
Damn right it is. I honestly, I went into that thinking I'm not going to like this as much as I like it. Just unaged,
So
clear.
what do you think? You like it better aged?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, which is saying a lot because I think the GWR, as far as unaged, unoaked, just out of the still, like, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
So, really wasn't seeing a world where it could get better than that. But, I mean, my God.
I mean, this is something I could have 2 fingers before I go to bed.
Oh, yeah.
Top the day off.
Oh. Yeah, very smooth sipper.
When George likes it right, it's really yucky.
She doesn't like it.
I like it.
Dang. That is. All right, I'm off it. It's really good, but geez.
Terry says time in a bottle can work wonders. That is
If
true.
I could put time in a bottle, there's only one thing that I'd like to do. What song is that?
I don't know.
A little bit.
It was doing a little karaoke.
I went on a little riff there.
Okay.
Time in a bottle. You know what song I'm talking about? If I could put time in a bottle,
Oh yeah.
there's one thing that I'd like to do. Does anyone know what song that
I don't
is?
think it's called Time in a Bottle though. I want to say it's not REO Speedwagon, but it's one of those like.
I like the wagon.
Uncle Moonshine says time in a bottle.
Poor man's
Is it Time in a
Eagles.
Bottle?
Bill Irwin asks, do you prefer to ferment on the grain
On the
or
grain.
off? I prefer fermenting on the grain myself.
Clinton nailed it. Jim Croce, Time in a Bottle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Paul McKinley said, please stop. All right, admins, get him out of here. Get him out of here. Banned from the chat. I did that one time jokingly, and then they did like immediately ban that person. I was like, whoa, hold on, I was just kidding.
1972.
Oh, no, did they? Oh, okay, no, I thought they did boot him out of here because I saw his eyes just ended up way up at the top.
Now, nobody's going to boot Paul.
Zach, keep your day job. All right, Charlene, why don't you hop on the bus with Paul?
Tom Cat says it's called If. Referring to the song, maybe?
Oh, yeah. You guys want another one? I can go again. The Duke says, just remember, when using the heirloom corn, add 51% barley. A lot of barley.
He's just trying to get us on the malt.
Yeah.
Always with the malt.
Loves the malt. He loves his Scottish, it looks like scotches a lot, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a bourbon drinker, but love me a good rye. Yeah, I've never been much of a rye fan myself, but this is good.
Never was.
And I'm going to be doing a malt whiskey, and then after that, I'm going to do like a malt with a heavy rye, which I'm not sure what it's called, but maybe ask the Duke. Maybe Duke has an answer for that. What is a malt with a bit of a heavy rye in it? It may not even be. I don't know.
Ever used peat?
I have not. Uncle Moonshine says the older you get, you appreciate rye more.
Uncle Moonshine is everyone's favorite drunk uncle. If you've never met him, you should go over on TikTok and check us out. This stuff's kind of all over the place, though.
Yeah.
He's kind of a notorious shiner in the community.
Yeah. Everywhere.
Yeah.
Always in lives. Does lives himself.
Mm. I think there's maybe 3 of him as much as I see him in lives or have him in my lives or a lot of hours in the day for Uncle Moonshine.
Oak and Axe does a malt rye combination. That bottle you opened last week should have malted barley plus rye in that mix. That was true. Actually that was one of their bourbons. One of their bourbon matches that did have a rye in it that they aged in a Scotch barrel. That's
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Axe and Oak. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And the owner of Axe and Oak gave us the barrel that you see behind us.
Good
Sweet
dude.
little gift.
Really, really a cool dude, and it's kind of cool too. Like, that's a guy that has gone through all the motions and like hard work and turmoil of like, hey, let's have a distillery, and you know, and he's still like, you can tell by talking to him, like, still loves distilling.
Yeah, we got to have a meeting with him. It was a really cool experience. First of all, it was in a cigar lounge, which I've never been in a cigar lounge. So that was.
I could tell you handled yourself like it. You were like, I was like thinking maybe Cyrus just comes to these. I don't know.
But like you were talking, his origin story of how he started Axe and Oaks was wild.
Yeah.
When he was telling us the steps he went through to get there, and I'm not going to share it because I don't know how much of that he shared in real life to everybody, but it was wild. Like, what? It
was cool, very authentic, like very real story. But at times when he's telling you like this happened and this, and then my brother does this, and you're thinking like, that's wild. Like that is just.
Let's just say part of the story involved breakdancing,
like at a professional level.
Yeah, it's like
which I thought was just,
professional breakdancer. That's crazy.
Yeah, big dude. Go ahead and read the Duke's comment there.
Cyrus has been going to make a malt for the last 6 months. If he was in the Army, he'd be a gunner. He's going to make a malt. Actually, you're wrong about this. Like, this is not true. It's not true. It's been at least 9 months. Not 6.
It's been longer.
Yeah.
Have a drink on me. Clinton. What did Clinton do? Did he send some more subs or something? What happened?
What did he do?
I don't know. Someone, Neil David said, have a drink on me. Clinton.
I mean, don't we just call those body shots? That's hard to do in a chat, though.
I don't like doing body shots off other guys.
AC/DC, the song?
Huh?
Have a Drink on Me by AC/DC,
Have a drink on
or...
I don't know.
I don't know either. Duke, your problem that you're having tonight with commenting is novel to me. So I'm looking into it. We'll circle back.
Can't from Apple or PC from the UK.
That is interesting.
Because everyone else can comment. Interesting.
Is there anyone else in the
outside
chat
the US
besides the Duke outside the US? I keep calling him the Duke. The rest of the chat may not know. That's Beaches.
Beaches, yep.
Is anyone else outside the US? We're asking. They probably can't comment, and they're trying. Yes, I'm outside the US.
Yeah, we would never know. We would never know. Richard said, y'all miss me singing in the shower. No, we did not. We didn't. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, brother. Is Sketch still around?
I'm sorry?
Sketch, thank you, brother. That guy?
I don't remember that guy.
Okay. Wow. Where have you been?
Hang on.
He plays Madden, and thank you, brother.
Had a little controversy.
Yeah.
Got for
some
things in his
he
life.
was like doing like gay OnlyFans stuff, and it just came out.
I know who you're talking
Everyone
about.
was like, "Nah, we like him." No,
it's fine.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah,
I don't know. He was all worried people were going to care.
Yeah,
Nobody cared.
It was like it was kind of interesting because you could see from his perspective, he thought everything was just like over. And he was just like very real about the whole thing, and was just like, "Oh yeah, this is I needed buddy, and this was something I did," and everyone else was just like,
who cares?
Exactly,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, we got a 102, 98, 94, 102, 98, 96.
Where are the bubbles? Where are they?
Number 7.
I think you're all too low. I don't know what it proofed out at, and I'm not going to look at its writing, but I think you're all too low, maybe. Maybe not.
Oh, look who nailed it.
Yeah, I saw that.
$90, $100, $105, $97, $108, $105.
Yeah, Winsong, you and Joe are pretty quick with the screenshots.
Jar number 7 is 95.
95.
Sweet Joe got it.
Sweet Joe.
Jeffrey says, still clear. Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's pretty great. I already finished mine. Wish there was a giant bottle somewhere close. Pour yourself another one. All right, shit.
All right.
Damn it.
Broke your arm.
All right.
We're going to run this one
Ooh,
down
that's
pretty
nice.
deep, I think, because I think there's a sweet water jar in this room.
You guys liking that?
That's
To
good.
me.
I like it.
That would be a good soundboard sound. Well, we talked about cork pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the first ones we talked about.
One of the things we've thought about installing into the live is sound effects, but been low on the priority list. We'll get to it eventually.
Luckily, there seems to be a kind of a merging of, like, whenever we try to get people on the live stream with us.
Oh,
If we can answer that question, then we can also answer the soundboard question.
okay, cool.
So that's kind of cool. I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
those two things are waiting on the same
Right.
epiphany.
I am often startled and taken aback by, for my age, how little I know of any sort of technology. And Adam, I think it could be mostly your fault
Yeah.
because
You've been his crutch.
always, like, I just would instantly, it's like I could just holler at him, or like he would, like, in college we were always around each other, and I just never, I think, had to figure out anything technology wise for myself. And
Yeah. If you never have to figure it out, then you'll never learn it.
I am a beautiful idiot, just a really good looking, beautiful chisel jaw idiot, you know. And it is what it is. That's okay.
Yeah.
Some of us just bounce through life pretty and oblivious. Okay.
Probably a burden.
Yeah. My crutch to carry. Is that the saying? Crutch to carry?
No, you
Cross to bear.
Cross to
you
bear.
can combine a couple of sayings there.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm sticking with it.
Yeah.
It's my crutch to
That's
carry.
what I would
I like crutch to carry.
I think our chat is stuck.
No,
How's about now? Do you have Paul at the
there
bottom?
it is.
they hopped up there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's catch up on these. Play that bottle, Uncle Moonshine. I've added a bit of chocolate in with my UJ and rye. It is delicious. Mike, I'd love to try some. That sounds awesome. 4-1 for me. Richard. Noted. Charlene says Richard has a really good deep voice when he sings. We're still talking about Richard singing in the shower, and I love that. I'm not mad at it. Enjoy it. Jeffrey Bed said, you said there may be a surprise jar towards the end. Tell me what you mean by that and what you will do with it.
So, what I mean by a surprise jar is what they call a sweet water. And if you go far enough into the tails, sometimes you can get a jar that is just really good. It doesn't have a lot of alcohol in it, but it tastes great, even though it's down in the tails. And you can use that jar to proof down your final product instead of using water to proof it. And it just turns out well. And I'm not saying this as if I know where to find all the sweet water, because I've chased it for a long time and ran across it a handful of times. But the taste and
especially the smell of this run makes me think there's going to be one.
You are the Sweetwater Sensei. Okay, we've talked about this, you and I, over the last, it seems like couple weeks more now than ever. I do not question when Cyrus says, like, oh, maybe do this, because it has, and I'm not talking about 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, it has 100% been like, oh yeah, we should have just done Cyrus's suggestion, and he's too nice, and then I think also just wants to teach me lessons through me fucking stuff up.
I don't want to teach you lessons. I want you to just learn.
That's what you are. Yeah,
I'm not trying to teach it.
He allows me enough room so that I can like sometimes semi-hang myself, and it is like I do learn more for sure, 100%. But like it is crazy the amount of times that you've just thrown something out there as like a little tip or a little trick, or maybe do it this way, and it's like always the better way to do it. And I don't know what it says about me that I normally always just am like, oh, I'll just do it this way, and then it gets messed up and doesn't work or whatever. Yeah. And you're just like, oh yeah.
I mean, someday you'll learn, just like Windsong, that I'm rarely wrong.
Go ahead.
I'm rarely wrong.
Go ahead. You're gonna go home at some point. I'll continue.
Windsong knows.
Whenever you said just like Windsong, I'm like, hang on.
Hang on.
Get out of here. I'm always wrong, even if I'm right.
Well, that's a completely different discussion.
But yeah, no, I think you're. I don't know. I didn't smell or taste that last one, but I kind of heed your advice on this. That I think that you're probably right. Somewhere down here.
This one pretty deep.
Yeah.
I thought sweet jar was when the jar proofed itself. So you mean like you're wanting something at 100 proof, and that jar is just at 100 proof and great? Is that what you mean? Not sure what you mean by that, Joe. Also, have you ensured you are logged in? Oh, okay. You're chatting with someone else. Barry says Sweetwater, always a ghost. That's really true. It's tough to find, and I think it doesn't exist in most runs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it depends as much on ingredients or speed of run or anything like that, but it definitely does like seem more likely that in some runs you're able to find those as opposed to others.
That's what I've come to conclude. Windsong says he's usually right until he starts disagreeing with me.
The Duke and Windsong are two of Cyrus's probably greatest advisors.
Yeah.
They probably, I don't know if you feel the same way about them that I feel about you, but I think now my standard practice is just kind of to defer. Be like, oh yeah, you're right. Man, this stuff is
very good.
It's also got a really good nose.
I think we need to filter that again, and when we do, I think I'm gonna. Could just make it.
Do we have more? No, we need to. We do need to just run some more GWR
for sure.
Yeah,
that should always be in the.
That should be a future. I think there is some unaged GWR somewhere over there in the back, hiding. Maybe, possibly, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Jason says that Windsong does a good job keeping Cyrus on track. That's pretty true.
My wife keeps me pretty honest. Someone's got to.
Joe asks, how did you age that GWR? So, that again for us, brother.
A charred hillbilly lid and a medium toast stick. I'm going to assume in a half-gallon.
2 half gallons the same.
Okay.
I believe it.
Uncle Moonshine asks, when you guys age, do you prefer to use spirals or chips?
I prefer not to use spirals or chips. The smallest I like to use is sticks, which is what I use most often. In fact, it's all I've used quite some time. But for me, the spirals and the chips, they age too fast.
You can over oak it.
Yeah, that's what I think about it.
Well, and it's like, too, like you got to taste it pretty periodically. And then at that point, it's like, okay, like how much have I drank out of this, making sure that I don't over oak this, and how much do I have left? And
yeah, and I don't know, like if there's a science behind that. I'm sure it has to do with surface area, but it just seems like maybe it's that strong bitter tannin flavor that seems to come out too strong. I use chips, spirals.
yeah.
Collector Rick's Honeybees back in the house. Good to see you joining us. Clinton says, finally, now I have whiskey. Things are getting better. Finally get to sit down with a drink there, Clinton.
I think if you were using the chips in like a big barrel or like a big quantity, it may be more the way to go.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've just never liked how they turned out.
Clinton says, under chip your spirit to start, you can always add more.
That's true.
Like
Start with little bits. Yeah. You can add more, but you can't take it back.
Richard's got, how many handles you got, brother? Just nabbing up those free memberships.
Collector Rick's is
it's Richard.
Is Richard. I didn't even know that. Or there are those 2 different Richards. Richard Henderson, Collector Rick's Honeybees. I think they're 2 different Richards.
Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah.
May have misread the situation. I get it.
That's late to be getting a call on the shop phone. Guarantee you that's a sales call, right? Just messing with the YouTube. Different Richards, yeah. Great name though, for sure. Yeah, I have a cousin named Richard. Yeah, I prefer oak sticks, and for a half gallon, I use either 1 or 2. And if I'm using 2, it's only because one of them is toasted only and not charred. Collector Rick and I have been on the Rise and Shine Mornings live stream. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I missed yesterday and today on the Rise and Shine. I apologize for that. One was due to weather, and then today I got sidetracked and forgot. Basically, it was like 10 minutes past 9, and Zach was like, "Are you gonna do the Rise and Shine?" So, but I'll get better at that. It's kind of a new thing. I'm really enjoying it. I like kind of jumping on for like 30 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever. I usually do it and just kind of shooting the shit.
That's weird. The other day, he was telling me he just didn't like you guys that much, and that's why he wasn't doing it.
And I specifically remembered telling you not to say that.
I said it specifically.
You were not to tell them.
Little ice here behind the curtain there for you guys.
I remember saying, listen, I'm going to tell you this, but don't repeat it. I don't like any of these guys. And there you go.
Oh, of course, that's all horseshit. We really, the God's honest truth, I enjoy the heck out of all you guys. I see most of you every week, which I think's pretty bitching. Cyrus, on the other hand, I don't know, for whatever reason, just not really wild about you guys, but I am. I like you.
Yeah, I have a good time doing it. These lives are a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay, it's a nice breakup of the week too, because it's kind of like, you know, like especially you spend a tremendous amount of hours every week making the whole thing tick, and you know, it's just kind of nice to break the week up to where it's like, oh, we just kind of get to sit down and hang out and talk to everybody.
Yeah, and Thursdays is kind of like a very hectic day because of this.
Yeah,
but it's also a day where like I can say, oh, I'm not doing that today because I've got to do this. Like it's a good excuse to go.
I get that.
I can't do that today.
Yeah. Richard, no problem, brother.
It says this is my Friday, so I get a live stream and talk some liquor, making fun. Didn't catch up on me, yep.
I often wonder too about a lot of you guys, like, how hammered do you guys get during these things? So I gotta assume like this is kind of like a drink and hang out and you know, sit back, relax, watch the show. It's the evening time for most of you. Like,
yeah. So you're asking the chat, how twisted are you getting watching our live?
I think some of you a lot. And hey, I'm not shine judging. I'm not cup watching. Okay,
right?
Like I'm here for it. You guys know. You guys
we're not, I'm not shaming.
I like that. I like that fun. Like you know. But what's if we were doing a guess your guys' BAC, like where would that land most times? I don't know.
Right. Joe Park says she likes watching you work on TikTok.
I've been starving and depriving her of that. I haven't been doing as many. Like the other day, I did in the morning. I was packing stuff in the morning, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go eat lunch, and then I'll be right back on here. And then I was just like, oh, no, I'm not. I'm just gonna pack orders and get stuff out, and I just never got back on.
So for those of you in the chat that don't know, he'll go live throughout the day, different times on TikTok, and he might be bagging grains or packing boxes or whatever.
Might be listening to music, having a beverage.
Yeah,
I mean, it just depends on what we've got going, what needs to be done.
Uncle Moonshine says, ever watch my podcast? Yeah. I've seen it a number of times. Well, you had me on it, I think, Uncle. Yeah. You had me on?
I would like to be
on.
on.
Maybe he's not asking us.
Oh, yeah, that could be for the chat. You guys can watch Uncle Moonshine's podcast. Very super likable, just like, you know, just very kind of wise. It has ran Moonshine, I think, probably for, I don't even want to guess. Like very helpful, very entertaining. Also has like that's more of a podcast where he has like people on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which we don't do as much of that right now. I think we're working on trying to see the best way for us to do that periodically, but you know, I like it.
I'm excited about being able to get people in the live. And been working on that on the morning live show, the Rise and Shine, being able to get people to pop in. And for those of you that aren't aware, that is a members only thing. But I tried it the day before yesterday. I thought I had it set up, and then what was the problem? I got the link and could copy the link. And put the link. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to get with you on that after the show, rather than just ramble on about my problems with technology.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, Uncle Moonshine. Well, whatever. Yeah, let us know, man. Also, like, I think there's. I'm not gonna say anyone. But I think there's pretty much no one in this community. Like if they started something or got something going, like I would go, like I would make time to go on whatever for whoever.
Yeah, whatever we can do to support the whole community.
I don't care if you got like 1 download or like 7 million. Like I like talking moonshine. I like hanging out and having fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
Collector Rick's Honeybees is gifting more memberships, 5 more memberships. Thank you, brother.
did we ever figure out if that's Richard?
It's a different Richard.
Different Richard.
Yep.
Thank you to the other Richard, who maybe we like more now than the other Richard. Maybe we like him. Maybe it's not so wrong that we like him more.
We got people jumping in the chat, picking up those memberships.
And they're gone. That's awesome. Can we have too many?
Gotta have a little more of that, pretty good stuff.
Not the worst. Leave it open. Leave it open. Yeah, let it breathe a little bit. Who cares, you know? What are we doing? Huzzah!
Where are we on that chart?
What does that mean? What's Clinton mean? Less grazing?
I think whenever people are members of the stream, they are a different color in the chat.
Oh,
That's what I'm assuming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hit me up.
I'm not noticing that. I don't.
We don't see that.
Oh, we don't see.
We
it.
don't see
Okay.
any of that.
Don't forget about the Shine Festival.
Oh, that's right. Clinton did get in. He was showing us his breakfast. I totally spaced that. Clinton did get into live, and he was cooking breakfast, just showing us the sausage and stuff.
Yeah,
Right. It did.
I had some
work.
good breakfast ASMR.
How'd you guys do that?
I don't.
He just
remember
runs.
for
He
sure.
just runs the morning live off his phone, and he just brought in a guest into the YouTube live.
YouTube only.
But it splits the screen, right? So like when he does it, it's like half. I guess it would be again like you guys don't give a shit about this. But
I mean, hey,
do the Yatum talk later though.
makes me excited.
Yeah. Members equal green, grays equal filthy casuals. Couldn't have said it better myself, Glenn. I'm just kidding. We have a festival here in Florida. What month, Unc?
I think they just had it. Or no, that was the. Thinking of the release date.
Surely they're not. Well, it is Florida. I was about to say, surely they're not having a festival in February, but like it could be 80 down there. I would. Right next to the Gulf of America.
April 5th.
How wonderful. Listen, you're late, brother. Ban him. No, I'm just kidding. April 5th, Arto Arena. April 5th.
I'm not sure, but I'm probably working. Are you asking me? Are you asking me my plans past tomorrow? What the hell?
Probably here. Like I am every other day, but Sunday. That's pretty cool.
That jar's just about burr.
Damn. First gallon. That is jar pint number 8. Coming off. This is on the nose, like and this is so hard to grasp. The tails on this has been super confusing. Zero taste of tails. Hey, taste that.
Oh, I did. I haven't even had my mic on this whole time. See if y'all can hear the thumper.
Oh yeah, I can hear it from over here. Surely they can.
Oh, I think I've got it gated down.
Gotcha.
Some thumper ASMR going on back there. Oh man, that's a sweet smelling little jar. Good tasting little jar too. Be very curious to see how she proofs out here. I've got some ideas, but we'll let you guys guess. Pulling a lot of oil through some. All right, you guys guess them. The winner of this jar is going to get the entirety of Still and Clear's bank account. Little last minute giveaway that we are trying to do here.
Yep. Excited for this one. Oh, Winsong says, shake it like a Polaroid picture.
Shake it. Shake it. Also, like, haven't had any clouds so far. Yeah. Which I thought kind of expected a little bit at this point. All right. Let's get a little jar shake for Winsong. We did
91, 80, 95, 94, 105, 101.
We did end up doing a giveaway on this one. The winner gets your bank account. So
Yeah.
good luck, guys.
That's a terrible gift.
That is the worst gift. No. Let it clear all the way out here and give it one of these. This is what I call. This one is a like TikTok shake.
Okay.
You guys do that?
Yeah.
They're like, here, I'll give you a good shake. Okay.
All right.
Asking if we can see the fusibles in the jar. Any on there?
Well, I'm shaking it up now, and so they kind of, when it's coming off, you guys know they kind of settle up there at the top. They are non-existent.
I do not see any.
There's none now. There were some. Take my word for it.
Song says the winner will starve to death.
The winner will die a cold death. What do you guys? You guys got all your guesses in?
Bill says, "How much are we going to owe you?" You're gonna have to add a little money to that account to bring it back to zero. So yeah.
I'm almost like, well, I know what the reading is, so like, I don't know why I'm. But it is surprising if you know what the last jar proofed out at. Y'all got them in there? I'll read that.
98.
98.
Went up. It slowed down.
Went up 3. Yeah, I think it slowed down a little bit and
No one had
cruised back up. This was a very good smelling, very good tasting jar.
Good.
Kind of surprised me.
Looks like
Because the other ones I've had
95 was the closest from Bill Weiser. I don't know if that's Vaser. How do you say your name? Vaser. How much are we going to owe you? Bill.
Jake says he can almost smell our still running.
Did I get banned or what? Paul, I don't know. Did you have an interruption in the broadcast?
Paul,
I
I
was
didn't ban
joking
you.
about that.
I didn't ban you.
Nobody's
Paul.
banned you, brother.
You're never banned around here.
What's happening on your end that made you think that?
Jake said I can almost smell your still running. Thank you. Thank you, right?
I think
Thank you.
so. I think that's a thank you.
Appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Can't find me. First off, I can. You're right here in front of me. You have to comment into our chat. Bought an easy kit from Cyrus last year. Turned out amazing. The bourbon was tops. Well, hell yeah. Which one did you get?
Welcome,
Beginner
Bill.
bourbon?
Glad you're here.
Bill Wesser says, new to the channel. Glad I found it. I'll speak for myself. Hold on.
See you later, Uncle Moonshine.
Bill said, new to the channel. Glad I found it. Brother, I'll speak for myself. I personally am glad to have you here.
Glad you found it. You're here, Bill.
No, we're both glad you're here. Just not seeing any chat.
Well, Paul, I don't know. Like, we're seeing it. I think everyone else is seeing it because everybody's making comments
There
and
is some
answering
chat.
questions.
There's a little
So,
chatter going on tonight.
Might be on your end, brother.
Does it smell like cooked apples?
Exit and come back, maybe.
I'll give you an honest read from my snaz. There's 100% of apple smell in there. It's commingled with, I think, what we put in our thumper, which is a mixture of kiwi, strawberry, and apple concentrate. Getting a little bit of that, a little tiny hint of that sulfuric, kind of like tailsy, a little bit in there. It's got a good clean smell to it, though.
Yeah.
Still, at this late run, like at this late jar in the run. And the taste on this one is, I've been kind of a harsh critic of the other jars, but like this one has a sweet, good
Nice.
apple taste. So
Nice.
I'm pretty happy with that jar.
Put that on upside down.
Yeah.
Instead of 98.
Using that could get confused.
We got 4 people over there watching on the Homebrew Center channel. That's awesome. That's about 2 more than is usually watching over on that channel.
It must
That's
be
sweet.
must be my mother and a few cousins at this point.
Mom has wrangled some other relatives in.
Richard Henderson, welcome to Still Hand.
Richard
brother.
has joined the channel. That's awesome. We'll see you in the morning live stream.
Don't know if you came by that honestly, purchased yourself, or were gifted, but either way, welcome to the club, brother.
Well, we'll talk about that in the other live stream. Shouldn't have said that.
I don't want to know what you're about to say.
No,
now.
right. I know.
What are you about to say?
After it came out of my mouth, I was like,
What were you going to
I was
say?
just going to talk to the channel members about what other kind of stuff I can do on the channel for them, but
Oh, yeah.
that's not a discussion for
There's
this.
some polls over there, and you guys, you get to kind of drive the what are we doing next type situations. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Richards is a purchase. Gifties go out within 30 to 60 seconds of posting.
Saw Cool Hand Luke somewhere in there in the chat. Speaking of Cool Hand Luke, how many boiled eggs do you think you could eat?
I don't know. I do like a boiled egg.
Depends how hungry I am.
What's your let's just talk numbers.
So I've never tried to set a record, so I don't know. But
Upper
Like-
limit.
What did he eat? 50?
Huh?
Or was it 50 or 100?
what are you talking about?
Cool Hand Luke.
I don't
Oh,
have
shoot,
any
I
idea.
don't remember that part.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't remember that part.
Someone in the chat tell me, did Cool Hand Luke in the movie, did he eat 50 or 100? 50, I thought. Yeah, 50.
50.
I instantly latched.
I'm not.
Let's get a follow-up on that, but
I'm not going to try and eat 50.
I think
So-
I think if I'm pretty hungry, I could put down 20.
I bet I could do 15 to 20 pretty easy. I know I can do 15 or 20 deviled eggs. That's kind of close to the same.
well, that's half the amount, though.
That's true.
Yeah. You're only talking, at that point, you're talking 7 to 10 eggs.
It sounds kind of wussy, doesn't it?
It depends how
Like,
fast you're
It's a
eating.
lot. I mean, it's still a lot. A dozen eggs is still a lot.
It is. It is a lot.
How many think you can get?
I'm pretty hungry. I could eat 20.
I don't know.
I think I'd do 3 dozen.
Think so?
I think I'd probably top out at like 15.
I think I could do 3 dozen.
And
if I really worked at it, it would take some practice. Like first dry run, like never having attempted before, I'm not getting 3 dozen. But I think I could, within a 30-day time period, I think I could work myself up to 3 dozen.
Yeah. If not,
wife probably
run,
makes you get a
on the
hotel
second
room
or
that
third
night,
run,
though.
I could do 20.
By the third, I don't know. I think I'm good for 3 dozen. I'm just gonna say it out there. I'm not, no disclaimers. No, I think I'm good for 3 dozen.
should we make this a contest at the Shine On Festival?
Ooh, a Cool Hand Luke boiled egg.
Eating contest?
Hey,
my God.
Yeah, honestly.
Bad Juju says they can eat about 30 deviled, pickled.
10 pickled, 30 deviled. That's 15 more deviled.
15.
Because you enjoy them more, you think?
Good to see you, Bad Juju.
What's up? Bye-bye. Here's my Bad Juju. No big deal.
Yep.
What a legend.
Distilling up to 100 gallons of wash is now legal in New Hampshire. Well, hell, that's pretty awesome.
Did you care about that before it was legal?
So now you're doing it and you weren't before?
Don't feel compelled to answer
Yeah.
that.
Statute of limitations has not expired.
We're going to have to do something with some eggs now.
Rooster says he'd do some damage on some pickled egg sandwiches.
Oof.
Has anyone ever distilled eggs? Or would it just become a mess that you couldn't...
First of all, I've never distilled eggs. Second of all, absolutely someone has distilled eggs. I don't think there is anything no one's
if it exists,
everything
it's
has been distilled.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I think you just plug your still up. Like, I think at a
they've
certain...
been distilling things for
I don't know, maybe once you ferment them, they break down a certain way and they
thousands of
can't.
years.
I have no idea.
Anyone ever fermented some eggs? Y'all tell me about that.
Okay, I was curious. 5,000 years. Mesopotamia.
I don't see eggs anywhere in that.
Well, no, that wasn't the question.
How long
I
have we been?
posited that distillation has been around for thousands of years.
You what?
Posited.
What's that mean?
Basically, make a statement of proof of fact.
I like that. It's a good word.
That's kind of a law-y thing. I'm
It's a good
surprised
word.
you
Posited?
Posited.
Never heard it.
It's
Okay.
3 years of law school, several years in the law
Okay,
firms.
well.
Never heard it.
Okay, all right.
I can buy it. I believe you. I mean, I love new words.
COSIT.
I don't know them all. I'm working on it though. I think there's just so
I'm working
many.
on the
How many
words.
words are there? How many words are there in the English language? Do you think? Would you say?
Dude, I have no idea. 500,000. I don't know.
We've
a
got-
million.
We've got from how many hard-boiled eggs can you eat to how many words are in
We are
there?
bouncing around. It's a good mixed bag tonight. It's a good mixed bag tonight. Seriously though, I think 3 dozen. I think I'd be good for 3 dozen.
Yeah, that's
And
impressive.
that is my like, hey, I leave here, get 3 dozen. Like, I think I can do 3 dozen. No, I can't. I think I could do.
This does make me curious about how many I actually can eat.
What would that look like too, in terms of just like the raw amount of time it would take to boil and peel and slightly salt? Because I'm gonna slightly salt them.
You got an hour of
Oh yeah,
prep.
you have to.
Yeah.
You got an hour
I'm not
of
going
prep
in. I
and-
can't do. That's the thing too that you'd run into. It's like, how many unseasoned boiled eggs could you eat before you're just
Now
sick of
you're
them?
asking just different questions.
Yeah.
The real question is how fast
I want to put some mustard on some, maybe.
how fast does your wife make you get a hotel room after attempting this?
Well, it's
Mm.
almost
Like, could anyone survive in a room with you after you've eaten 36 hard-boiled eggs?
no. I'd have to maybe be out of town or maybe in a situation where I don't have to be around other people for
Little
40,
while.
48 or so hours. I don't know.
Little while.
I don't know the time lag on a deal like that.
while.
She's put up with worse, though. I'm sure she could make it through that. I don't know. That
I'm
could
sure
be the
she-
straw that broke the camel's back type
Could be the
situation.
last straw. Jason asks, who besides me uses enzymes and malted grains? I do. A lot of the kits on Still in the Clear use both malted grains and enzymes.
There's a kit where you alpha and gluco convert with malted grains as well, right?
Yeah. Three of the kits.
I was about to say.
Actually, all of the all grain kits include malted grains and also enzymes.
What's kind of the school of thought behind that?
So twofold. One, I prefer the flavor of malted grains to unmalted grains. Okay. So a malted wheat to me is better than an unmalted wheat. Second, it is so that when you get the kit, if you want to do a traditional mash without using the liquid enzymes, there's malted grains in there so that you can do it.
Okay.
So you can mash it either way if you want. Okay. That's the thinking for the kits.
And just generally, if someone elected to do that, it would just maybe take, well, not even necessarily, but I started to say it would maybe just take a little bit of extra time in the fermentation side of things. But I mean, there's potentially like no difference really.
There's no difference in the fermentation. The difference is in the mashing. So you have a couple extra steps in the mashing process if you're doing a traditional mash where you're using the malted grains, the enzymes in the malted grains, because you have to hit target temperatures. Whereas with the liquid enzymes, 190 degrees if you're using corn, dump in your high temp, under 30, dump in your gluco. If you're using a malted grain, you have to, there's a window of like 153 to like 158 where you're going to get full conversion. And if you miss that window,
I didn't realize the window was that tight on it.
It's pretty tight. Well, that's been my experience. I mean, wow. Other people may find that differently, but
let us know in the chat, which is now missing from our screen. There it is.
Completely, it was gone off the screen.
Yeah, it was. Now it's back. We're back on the eggs.
When does both malted and the high temp and gluco?
Red Cloud, cheers, brother.
We keep losing our chat.
Yeah.
Well, we've got it down there, don't we? Oh, never mind.
Can't Find Me said, I have the worst luck making all grain mash. Always have to use sugar. What do you think your issue is?
Not getting a full conversion. There's a couple of things. You could be missing your targets if you're using malted grains. Also, you might not be fully gelatinizing your grains, especially if you're using corn. You need to be gelatinizing your corn at 190 degrees or higher.
Yeah.
That will mess up your conversion.
You should buy a distiller's toolkit from stillintheclear.com. I did talk to a guy the other day that discovered he was having a huge problem converting starches, and he found out what his problems, like he found out his problem. Any guesses?
Wrong temperature.
Well, yeah, but like he had a bad thermometer.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
He had a bad thermometer. He had noticed that his thermometer in room temp, where the room was maybe like 70, was sitting at like 55.
Yeah.
And he just had a thermometer.
Like, oh, my.
Yeah, he was off. He was off, and he was like playing around like, oh, that would suck.
Yeah.
Got a little still in there. We got a corn. Is a corn one of the new ones?
Corn is a new one. Yeah.
I love that. Jason made an all grain mash today. No sugar added. Starting gravity is 1. I like that.
So he added below that 1.073.
Oh,
That's a good starting gravity for sure.
I thought he meant 1100 at first. I was like,
Mm.
what's your?
That's hard to get with an all grain.
That's what I was. So I think
If
he
you're
said
doing
added
a
sugar.
traditional mash.
I think he, oh, well, I don't know. He may not have, but what is your now? I know what your preference is on a starting specific gravity on most of like your bourbon and whiskey mashes, but like, where do you think that upper threshold is before you start having pH problems?
If I'm doing anything above 1.080, I use a pH buffer.
Really? 1080, huh?
If I'm doing a whiskey mash, different with fruit. You don't have the same problem with the fruit, but
Right.
with fruit, it would my level would be 1.090, and I'm going to add a pH buffer, which for me I use crushed oyster shells. I'll just toss a handful of them in.
Is that like Kizazole?
No,
Citizen?
it's
That's what that's made from too. Why is that such an integral part of distilling and fermenting? Like there is something with the crushed oyster shells. Is it just purely a pH thing? But we also use it for clarifying.
Well, it's calcium, so that has a lot to do with it. So that's what calcium. The calcium in the crushed oyster shell will slowly dissolve into the ferment, and that keeps the pH from going too low.
And we use
Because it raises
potassium
calcium.
bicarbonate too for the higher pH
Potassium.
type.
Correct.
Have you ever added that prior to discovering like, hey, I have a pH problem? Like, have you just added it on the front end to like combat that?
Potassium?
Yeah.
No. If I'm adding it because I suspect I may have a pH problem, I'm adding the crushed oyster shell because the potassium bicarbonate is a fast acting thing. You mix it in, your pH climbs real quick.
Yeah.
The crushed oyster shell is a slow acting thing. So as the pH is dropping because of the fermentation, the crushed oyster shell is kind of holding that off. That's why it's called a pH buffer. It's buffering it. So if I suspect I'm going to have a problem, it's crushed oyster shells that I use.
Okay. I like it. I don't know what distilled meat is called, but yum.
Called honey wine or honey shine. Currently drinking a cinnamon whiskey. Only 4 days off the still. Doesn't sound bad.
Cinnamon whiskey is one of those that when I find it in its store-bought like Fireball,
Oh my god.
not a big fan. Don't like it.
Doesn't that in the fine print, isn't it called a liqueur?
Yeah, it's technically a malt liquor.
I hate Fireball, dude.
That's why they can sell those little Fireball in the beer and wine only like gas stations.
Mhm.
It's not even whiskey.
Ugh.
Yet somehow they get away with calling it Fireball cinnamon whiskey. Truth in advertising situation.
Can't find me says, I believe I will. Cyrus won't mind. And I don't have any idea what that's in reference to. Must be something in the chat.
Bristar32 said I use that for my citrus wines and beers. Yeah, anything citrus related, there's oftentimes, whether you're mashing or you're making a wine, like oftentimes there is some sort of pH adjustment involved with that because of the acidity of those types of fruits.
Clinton says, I use baking soda for pH balancing, mostly because the rum needs it after every batch
Clint makes a ton of
post third gen.
Clint makes a ton of rum. It feels like.
Yeah.
Which I like. I like rum, but
So the post third gen, so on your third generation, your pH is dropping. I'm assuming because of the dunder. Is that correct, Clinton? I just had to split the ferment on a 23rd generation rum ferment due to pH.
Third.
Jar check. Thank you, sir.
Jason T is always on point with the jar checks.
Yeah, dude. Some guys got your back. That's a Jason Trzynski there.
Every
Okay.
time.
He's gonna make sure you don't.
Every time.
Windsong says, you boys going to let the jar fill to the rim? Actually, it's all caps, so she screamed it.
Yeah.
Why are you yelling at us?
Why are you yelling?
We're doing the best we can.
Rum is good up to 14 to 16 generations. Then you can't pH balance anymore. It gets very acidic. I'm on 8th gen now. After distilling, it goes to 3.2. Richard's first one with a guess. 88, he says. Can't afford to have alcohol abuse. That's right, Jason. Thanks for the heads up, man.
The attention span of a goldfish.
Barry says 84.
I'm not
Distilling
even
is
sure.
definitely trial and error. Yep. Windsong says, well, it got your attention. It's true. I noticed it. 89, 92. What about apple flavored deer corn? Is that safe to use? I think it is.
Well,
I've looked at the labels before and considered using it, but I never did. Some people worry quite a bit about what's going into my mash and what, like, man-made chemicals.
there's a lot. I know there's a lot of, depending on which one you get, there's a lot of like fructose corn syrup and like different stuff that goes into like just a cheap sweetener for those kind of like I don't know if you're worried about that kind of a thing, or unfermentable sugars, or I mean, it's high fructose corn syrup fermentable.
Yes.
Well, disregard.
But some people, like my wife, won't eat it. Like I have to look at all the labels when I'm buying stuff at the store. She doesn't want any high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah.
But
Just get some regular corn.
but if you're fermenting and then distilling it, like that's no longer high fructose corn syrup anymore. It's
I would
not.
say just get some yellow red dent or red dent. Get some yellow dent corn and put a little Kool-Aid mix in it. Which I find, honestly, little deer hunting trip for you guys. The deer love it.
Yeah.
Don't spend all your money. on that.
Reagan says hi from Fort Smith Brewing.
Oh, shout out to my beautiful wife, who I love dearly, and I will be meeting you down there soon. Gotta write this down before I forget it.
Richard Henderson is having lasagna soup for dinner.
You're having what, brother?
Lasagna soup.
I don't like that.
What is that?
I don't like it.
What is that?
I don't like it. You guys ready? Got your guesses in there? Number 9 come off at 84 proof. I think someone hit that.
Someone did hit it. It was
Please be Joe. Please be Joe. Please be Joe.
Terry Baldwin.
Terry, so happy for you. Wanted that. Those are some good guessers.
Hillbilly says, well, if we're going to bring up deer corn, let's talk about aluminum and plastic. LOL.
What do you mean by that?
So
Containers, I assume, or
containers, yeah. So there's a big deal about you can't use aluminum for a still. Right.
Oh, about leaching?
And then there's also like produces some sort of chemical during distillation But then George over at Barley and Hops, he did like a debunk video saying you can use an aluminum still. It's no big deal. I don't have an opinion on it one way or another because
People use aluminum kegs all the time.
I mean, I have easy access to copper and stainless, so why would I worry about aluminum? But so that's an argument in the moonshine still community.
What's the claim about aluminum? I know what it is.
There's some kind of chemical process that happens during distillation that leaches something out of the aluminum that you're not supposed to consume.
Well, it is a more porous metal for sure.
But it's,
I mean, I could see at some point in the foundry of the process of making aluminum that because it's more porousy, that it holds bubbles of XYZ that can be maybe. I mean, I could buy that argument.
Hillbilly Glass Barrel says, "Yeah, it's like talking about the heat lamps in a chicken group."
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really see the issue with aluminum. Now, plastic, I do see.
So the deal with plastic is fermentation, and so for fermentation, I've used plastic so often.
Yeah.
My only the only real difference to me is with like winemakers. When a winemaker comes in and says, "Well, what about plastic versus glass?" Well, are you going to leave that in there short term or long term? If it's long term, use glass. If you're going to leave it in there for a month and a half, plastic. There's nothing that's going to happen in a month and a half that is going to hurt you.
Yeah.
But
I mean, especially considering the whole microplastic leaching problem, it really only happens above room temperature. I mean, it does happen at room temperature, but at a much smaller rate. But you're not fermenting way above room temperature, are you?
Depends on what you keep your room at, but it's like 75 to 80.
Okay.
Think of the tail, like the high end.
Some people ferment lower than that.
The high end in the summer would be like 90 probably for a lot of people.
That's when you start running into microplastic leaching. Like if you leave plastic in your vehicle in the summer, even in the spring if the sun's on it.
I've had some nasty swigs of water out of a day or two old in the middle of the summer.
That's right.
Left in my car.
My dad's real bad about it. He'll leave a whole package of water in his truck.
I do it. I know I
year
shouldn't.
round. I'm like, come on. Like,
full of cancer cells probably because of
he
it.
doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't even care what it tastes like.
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
But
it's wet.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
This is anyway.
Keith Mormon on TikTok said, "Uncle Cy, Keith, we'll show up to your door. We'll actually, I can't say that on TikTok. I don't need another restriction. Sorry. Get the custom badges and get the Uncle Cy's badges in the chat. Isn't there one for that? A T badge or something?
There's an Uncle Cy emoji. Yeah, it's a little cartoon character of Uncle Cy holding a glass of tea.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. Windsong says Zach has a non-romantic moonshiner crush also.
I don't know what that means. I read it and I didn't want to say it out loud because I was worried.
Joe.
Oh, yeah, I love Joe.
Yeah. I mean, we assume it's non-romantic.
Well, who knows?
You are married.
I have been very much married. Yeah. So that lady who just said hi to Windsong.
The sweet and lovely Reagan also.
Yep. So sweet. I'll give you a toothache, so damn sweet. Well, so what do we do? We're coming up on 7:30. Do we take an intermission, assess, come back?
I think
maybe for a few more extended minutes of fun.
I think we take an intermission and then maybe run till 8. You got school stuff tomorrow?
Got school, but nothing big tomorrow. So
yeah.
I'm good.
Got to check in with your PO. Got to do anything tomorrow morning, court-wise?
Yep,
P test.
7 a.m.
Got to take a P test.
Yep. You got to piss every other day.
That's a joke. Adam's got a clean record, buddy.
Yeah, we're fine.
All right, so I say we take an intermission. We'll give everybody an opportunity who's joining into the live late to see what went into the still prior to us starting rolling the cameras, and we'll be back here with you guys shortly.
Keith, we're back, and what are we running today?
We got apple brandy.
Apple brandy.
We made some apple wine. I think it was gonna turn out, and make a fine wine, but it is just very hard to beat a good apple brandy, and I get excited about them. I don't know. It's like every time I run an apple, I just want to turn it into brandy.
Hell yeah. So, how'd you make the brandy? Or how'd you make the apple wine?
So we had 4.5 gallon of store-bought apple juice, 24 pounds of apples that we cored, and we ended up putting 4 pounds of sugar and pectic enzyme, EC 1118 yeast. We had a starting gravity of 1070, and it worked all the way down.
And you completely pressed those apples. You got every bit of juice out of those apples you could.
Yeah, it's
24 pounds got you
slightly under a gallon. I pressed them in a huge press, took them out, cut them up, put them in a bag, cut them up some more, mashed them, and ended up trying to get every drop out of them, and ended up with a little over 3/4 of a gallon of juice.
Yeah. Awesome.
So
So we're gonna put all of this in there, which this is a 6-gallon carboy?
That is a 5-gallon carboy, and then we got a 1 gallon there. I ended up with, I started off in a bigger 6.5 gallon, and by the time I racked, it just kind of made more sense to go. I've been watching the headspace. Doesn't matter, does not matter. I don't know. There's a video on the Homebrew Center YouTube about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so ended up with 6 gallon. And, we've got some concentrate there we're going to throw off in our thumper.
Yeah.
Run me through that process a little bit.
So your thumper has to come up to temperature, just like your pot has to come up to temperature. And so we are going to preheat these. We're going to start the still, let it start getting up to temperature. And just before it gets up to temperature, we're going to heat these up on the electric skillet, put them in there at like 160 degrees, clamp this off. That way, when vapor starts coming over into this pot, there's no real preheating that has to take place here. And that's just going to shorten our runtime. If we didn't preheat what goes in, then you just add more time, because this pot has to come up to temperature also before it allows vapor to start coming through the worm.
Now, let me ask you this. Say we were just to dump that off in there cold. Is this going to steam up and come down in here? Is it going to elevate our liquid level to a place where we don't want that much liquid in the thumper? Is that going to be an issue? Or?
I mean, if you have undersized thumpers, that's definitely an issue. We do not have an undersized thumper with this still, so it wouldn't be an issue even if we did it that way. All we're really doing is saving time.
Nice.
And we're just adding some extra concentrate in here just to try and pull a little extra flavor over. There's all kinds of variables that have to do with, our heads are going to pull some of that flavor out. We're going to strip some of that flavor with our heads. But this is just kind of like, this is a maiden voyage for this still. We've already done the sacrificial run. This is the first real run on the North Georgia Fat 10. So we're pretty excited about it. We're going to see what we're going to get.
This thing's gorgeous, man. We've got it sitting out in the shop, and people come in and they're always kind of oogling it, and then man, it's a pretty old thing, and I'm excited to run a little apple brandy through it.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Grab a beer, grab a whiskey, sit down, enjoy the show.
Just wanted to let you know that Still in the Clear now offers heirloom corns. We've got the Hickory King White, we've got the Bloody Butcher, we've got the Jimmy Red. We've got a hybrid non-GMO blue corn. We've got the trucker's favorite white corn. And if you've been wanting to try some of these corns and add a distinctively different flavor to your moonshine, other than just a regular old yellow corn, you definitely want to try these out. You can go to stillintheclear.com/shop, click on the category heirloom corns, and see everything we have to offer. You can get it in 10-pound batches. You can also get them straight from the Homebrew Center shop if you're local to the Fort Smith area. And we also offer bulk purchases in store at Homebrew Center where you can get a great deal on a 50-pound bag. that is pickup only. But if you want to try some of these great corns shipped straight to your door at a great price, check them out. Stillintheclear.com.
The perfect shine, some say, is all about the water, or about the best corn or their secret mash bill. For others, it's about a great still and a lot of copper in the process. The best distillers and moonshiners know that the pursuit of the perfect shine is more about the sum total of each great part, not any one thing. The North Georgia Still Company is a great place to pursue your perfect. You won't find a better still. The materials, craftsmanship, and attention to detail in every still they make, regardless of size, is the finest that money can buy. Need awesome grains, enzymes, yeast, or other accessories for making mash or distilling it? They've got that too. The North Georgia Still Company is all about turning water into shine. Go ahead, get your shine on.
And we're back. Cyrus just got a huge fart in my face. So, what did you guys do during the break?
You got to watch out.
You never know what you gotta keep you on your toes. Yeah. So,
Can't Find Me definitely doesn't want to get sick from using deer corn. I don't think you'll have anything to worry about, in my opinion. Again, disclaimer. If you're taking our advice, you're probably already
question that already.
Yeah.
You know, I'll say this: if I walked into a doctor's office and I saw you or me giving any form of medical advice, I'd call my insurance. I go, "Hey, have we looked into these guys? Are we sure?"
Right. Well, my medical advice is usually something like, just ignore it.
Yeah.
You'll
Mentally
get
tough
better.
it out.
Just tough it out.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Quit thinking about it.
Yeah. You're sick because you are weak mentally. Is kind of your go-to on this.
I mean, let's talk to cancer patients about that. You know?
Yeah.
Winsong says, right, and she's adorable, so only romantic crushes for you. Talking about your wife.
I thought we were talking about Joe again.
I think maybe only
maybe-
non-romantic crushes for you.
I think she's referring to.
Yeah. I'll go on record. I got an absolute moonshine crush on Joe.
Yeah, for sure.
I love me some Joe.
Joe's awesome.
Yeah. What kind of Bill Irwin asked, what kind of diffuser plate are you using?
We are not using a diffuser plate.
Not using one. We're what's it called? We're going commando on the diffuser plate.
Commando, yeah. Can't Find Me says, how about an all-grain matchbook by Cyrus? I mean, we can't rule it out, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Something to think about. Kane Finery said these recipes would be great if you would pass them on. Yeah, so a lot of these recipes that we use, not all of them, right? But a lot of them are passed around in the MeWe group, the Moonshine for Beginners group on MeWe. That is, I think, probably one of the most helpful resources for beginners and experienced distillers alike. There's a lot of good, free, just information that's shared around on there. Also, the newsletter, The Mash, that is put out every month is another good. There's normally a couple recipes in there that are highlighted.
There's always at least one, and sometimes there's more than one.
Yeah.
New recipes. And those usually come from either Still in the Clear or the Moonshine for Beginners group.
Yeah. Those are normally something that we've either done on here that just turned out really well, that he's done a YouTube video on that was kind of tested and turned out really well, or something from a MeWe group member that is just highly touted and a lot of people have recreated, and it's there's a lot of good stuff like that on there.
Yeah, so if you're interested in recipes, definitely join the Moonshine for Beginners group. I saw
No chat.
Adam jumps
Well, it went away from
Discord.
dropped
Yeah, no,
that
it's
in
back.
the chat. So join the group, join the newsletter. Newsletter's free, so once a month deal. Lots of recipes always. Hillbilly Glass Barrel says rub some dirt on it.
Kind of true, really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of that's the mantra that we kind of go by. Rooster Oakwood said, may have missed this, but what's a good apple to use? Depends on how you're using it. If you're mashing or fermenting with it, that said, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. What you're shooting for, what you want. I love Gala. I love green apple. I love, what's a couple apples you like?
I'm not an apple connoisseur. I know Winsong swears by green apples in a lot of her recipes, specifically green apple.
I love
A lot of people too. The green apple is super popular in terms of post flavoring and then adding actual apple to your pint/quart jars. And then I've seen a lot of people on the Facebook groups that I'm a part of talk about the Red Delicious, that they really like the Red Delicious for fermenting and mashing in with. So yeah, I mean, I think my answer, again, this is kind of a non-answer, but I like them all.
Yeah.
Red Delicious, the real tall, dark red ones. My grandma used to always keep those, and I would salt them.
Salt them, really,
Eat them salted.
like a
yeah.
watermelon,
Yeah.
cantaloupe.
That's about the only way I'll eat a Red Delicious
Why
is
is-
salted.
Why is no one making? Why am I not seeing a lot of cantaloupe ferments? You got a good.
Oh,
I love cantaloupe. Got a
I'm sure
good
they're out
mellow.
I'm sure. Just Google cantaloupe wine, whatever.
Well, and
it'll
also
come
it's
up.
like a pretty by volume, like and by weight, it's like a pretty cheap fruit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been wanting to do a dragon fruit ferment of some sort, but they are just wildly
It's going to
expensive.
be an expensive
Wildly
wine.
expensive.
Nick Haas says, super thankful to the MeWe group. Everyone has been crazy helpful, and don't judge the newbies. That's right.
Yeah, it's a big thing in that group is being that group is targeted around being more helpful than hurtful.
For sure.
And like at the same time, it's like
Hurtful's not even tolerated.
No.
You get booted.
yeah, you get out of there. But I mean, it's kind of like the same general experience. Like if you ran into someone in real life, and there's 5 or 6 guys that are just standing around talking about this, that, or the other, whatever the content is there, and then there's like one guy that's just like a dick for no reason. It's like this is just you're not gonna have any of that in there. No one wants it.
Yeah.
The new guy, the experienced guy, the moderator, like nobody wants it in there. So very, very cool place to learn. And everyone gets it too. Like we all started out at some point not even knowing what we didn't know.
Right.
And so like there's kind of an
You don't even
understanding.
know the right questions to ask yet. Yeah, for sure.
You're just not sure. And so like it's also it's cool to see a new guy pop in there on a weekly basis and be like, hey, what about this? And it's like sometimes I will have to sit back and like kind of look at and go, oh, okay, all right, this is what they mean, this is what they need. And that's cool to see all the vets in there helping those guys out.
I saw Jason had asked, what's the best whiskey to deal with a teenager? I think maybe the whiskey's the problem. Don't give your teenager whiskey.
Jim Clear. Oh, we're talking about giving it to them or taking it to deal with them.
Oh, yeah. I guess those are two different questions.
190 proof, neutral spirit. I think
Neutral
Yeah.
spirit.
quick, fast, as much as you can get out all at once, and just wake up the next day and start anew. Honey Crisp and Gala, Terry Baldwin said. Yeah, I love the Galas. Also, like, if you're playing around with apple, especially on on the wine side of things, where you're making a ferment that you can get run out and run a brandy out of, like, there is nothing wrong with a store-bought apple juice. Try that out and then play around with the apples and do a 2-stage fermentation and get in there on it. But like, I think a good base level, just start with a certain amount of sugar and a few gallons of store-bought apple juice, and see how that works for you. You're going to end up with something that you like. Clinton says, cantaloupe is a very delicate flavor. It comes out, but you have to hunt for it. You really need a thumper and concentrate the syrup for cantaloupe. Good advice.
Interesting.
Good advice. I'd like to play around with some cantaloupe. Maybe start off with a wine and just see like a honeydew cantaloupe type wine.
I'm a big fan of honeydew.
I love honeydew. I love cantaloupe. I would say, I'm going to go out here on a limb here and say cantaloupe, one of my favorite melons.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the light flavor, nothing harsh. Also like the texture of it.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I don't like melons.
Wildly unpopular take. I commend you for the bravery there.
Probably my most favorite is watermelon, and I don't like it very much.
There's probably a Facebook group for people who don't like melons.
Melon haters.
I saw it. There's
Melon
8
haters?
members, but
Yeah. Be you and 9 other people in the whole U.S.
In the whole world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you run an apple through a meat grinder if you don't have a press? Nick, my favorite way to really work some fruit and get it down to the pulp level is a blender. Never ran anything through a meat grinder. I'm not telling you that it would work or be good or not good. My favorite method on that is a blender. That's just a preference thing. I've never.
Yeah, Windsong, I was trying to put together a honeydew list joke earlier in my head, and I couldn't do it. I'm glad you did. Thank you.
big fan of honeydew unless it's that list I'm waiting for him to get to. I'm so slow on the honeydew list.
Yeah.
Dude, mine's stacking up pretty good.
I get it.
Yeah.
Jason Acosta says, I've been thinking about combining apple juice concentrate, and apples. Thoughts on this? Jason, as far as a store-bought apple ferment, my favorite mix of, and we'll have to see how this turns out. This is a mixture of fresh apple, pressed and squeezed, and apple juice. But so far, to date, one of my favorite apple ferments that we've run as a brandy has been a combination of apple juice and apple cider in equal parts mixed with some sugar added. Not a lot either, like maybe a pound a gallon, pound and a half gallon. I have to go back and look at the recipe. I like the apple cider. I think you get a good flavor, a good spice that seems to help the apple carry through a little bit more. And so I consider an apple cider when you're playing with those different mixtures. I think you'll be happy with it. Clinton, I like this kind of chatter that we've got into here. Clinton says Rocky Ford cantaloupes are the superior cantaloupe. I'll see if I can get some sent to the store this coming fall. They are huge flavor. Brother, I'm telling you right now, you get us some here, I'll do something with them for you. We'll call it the Clinton cantaloupe.
I always just go buy a cantaloupe.
Concoction. Thank you.
See.
I'm going to come up with the third C. I was coming up dry.
I don't even, I didn't know cantaloupes had different names. Like, oh, there's cantaloupe.
I thought I'll be honest, I thought there was just a cantaloupe. Here it
Just
is.
like anything else, there's strains and varieties and so on.
I love it.
Rocky Ford.
I use my Apple Smasher 3000, otherwise known as a tree branch. I mean, that works too.
Yeah, 100%. Are you really using a tree branch to smash them? I just imagine him just like.
I imagine he is. Yeah.
I don't think he's shit. I don't think he's bullshitting on that.
In fact, I think I've seen a video of him mashing apples with a tree branch. Did you do a TikTok of that or something? Seems like
I have to go look
seen
at
a
that.
video of it.
Apples. Jason said apples is the mortal enemy of hillbilly glass barrel. Charlene, you and Richard dropped off that Jolly Rancher Green Apple Shine, which I've been tasting periodically in my TikTok lives. It gets probably the biggest reaction from a color standpoint from the people that are in those lives. And I love the flavor.
Yeah. Turned out pretty good.
And I think it's kind of weird. The further we've gotten through this run on the nose, the apple has come through stronger. I don't know what that says about it. I don't know. On the nose now.
Yeah.
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but the last couple jars, taste that. Give that a little.
Yeah.
Isn't that?
That's pretty aptly. Aptly.
Apple.
We're getting guesses. 78, 75.
Also, no big deal. Not tooting my own horn here. Not looking for self kudos, but just haven't spilt a drop tonight.
Killing it.
Which probably means on the next one
here,
coming off,
I don't think either of us have
pretty
spilled.
dry. Pretty dry.
If you don't count the overflow earlier.
There was an issue prior to the live starting where I stopped the water line, the out, built up a little bit of air pressure, didn't catch it in time until it started overflowing out of the worm, and yeah, it was a little bit of an issue there for us. We got her handled though.
Bristar 32 says, I do blue Hawaiian punch with blue Jolly Ranchers. Hell yeah.
I know.
Hillbilly Glass, I use tornado wood. 72, 77, 74, 73, 76.
Hold on. Gotta write that number down before I throw you off. I can, like, if I'm sitting here not even talking, not engaged in anything, if I wait too long, the number will be out of my mind before I can even write it down. Not getting. Maybe this is the first jar with a hint of cloudiness.
A little bit of cloudy there.
Just barely, ever minutely. Trying to. I don't know of a good way to.
Well, you got to show them the bubbles anyway. Winsong says bubbles. Hubert Bryant says, man, I just learned on cornmeal. I assume you're saying you learned how to make shine with cornmeal.
That was the first run I ever made was with cornmeal.
Yeah, it's pretty common. Hillbilly Glass Barrels says 69. I'm sure he's guessing.
What are you you're trying to get us to act something out, or
get your... Nicholas says, cornmeal was a pain in the ass for my very first run. Cornmeal is a pain in the ass. And it's a shame that there are videos on YouTube saying, do this for your first run, because cornmeal is definitely not easy to do.
It was cornmeal, sugar, bread yeast, and water on my first ever. This is what's heartbreaking. My first ever run on a still that, really looking back on it, I think it was literally it was an old school aluminum corny keg that I had high temp, like siliconed some copper line into.
Yeah.
And it's just wild looking back on it. But The first jar, pulled off the first like 2 ounces, pitched them, put a quart jar under the worm.
Now you're making moonshine.
Dropped it.
Yeah.
Oh, shattered it.
Yeah.
First ever quart I ever pulled off a still. I dropped it. I mean,
Yeah.
I just duffed it, dropped it, shattered it on the carport where we were making it, and looked over at my buddy. We're both in high school. Looked over at my buddy like, he was just like, he didn't say anything, but I could just,
Because at this point it had been months, right? Because you had to make the still, you had to like.
oh yeah, it was quite literally like 6-7 months of us just talking about it.
Yeah.
2 months of us like getting everything together and figuring out like how do we ferment and like what do we do,
Right.
and then like I think I fermented it for like 7 or 8 days. It wasn't, looking back on it, wasn't all the way done. And we put it in there and ran it. We had a good quart of liquor. It had just shattered it. The rest of it was basically just sweet water because it was a 5-gallon batch on a still that was just shooting alcohol vapor out of.
Yeah.
It was. Jar number 10 comes off at 63.
Ooh, I don't think anyone was too close.
Didn't we get there? I thought it was, well, there was at least 169 in there. So
Yeah, 69 hillbilly glass barrels.
Mm-hmm. When did you make your first run?
Alone by myself.
No, just like in like
As a teenager,
someone.
I was involved with helping.
Yeah.
And I was in my 20s when I made my first run by myself.
And when you were helping out when you were a teenager, you were running with someone who knew what they were doing, or
Yeah, my great uncle.
yeah, it's a lot better than my first run where it was just 2 shitheads that didn't know anything.
right.
Just YouTube some quick stuff and
Yeah.
tried to work it out. So you were in your 20s when you made your first run alone?
Yeah.
What'd you run?
Corn liquor. Well, at that time in my life, there was only one real moonshine recipe.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I believe.
Corn, sugar, yeast, and water.
Right. Yeah. And so that's what it was.
How do you think it
And
turned?
then
Like
later-
looking back on it, how do you think it turned out?
No, it was good.
Yeah.
Like, I've made much better stuff since.
Sure.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that after that first run too, like how cool. Like I don't know if it was being 16 and just thinking like, how cool is this that we can
Right.
produce this?
Yeah.
But I remember thinking at the time like, this is crazy.
Well, yeah, and your first run, I think always you think it tastes better than it does
Sure.
because like there's a lot of pride involved. You finally
You
done
made it. Yeah.
You made it, and so that feeling, that thought, that emotion makes it taste better.
That's how I was about the kombucha. It
Yeah.
basically tasted like carbonated apple cider vinegar, but I was like, "What the hell? I made this over
This
the
is
course of like
badass.
2 or 3
Yeah,
months or
yeah.
whatever."
Yeah, there's a lot of which I think a little bit. I think it maybe is kind of always there for some people, but I think the more you do it and like try to get better objectively at judging your own stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it just kind of slowly goes away. Because now I'll make something and I'll
Right. Not bad.
like no, it's like if I were to make this on my first run or my first couple runs, I would have thought this is Blue Label. Like I should. Like maybe I'm a master distiller.
Why do I not run a distillery?
Yeah. Why? Like Jack Daniels should be calling.
Yeah. I need to send this to Jack Daniels. They need to know what I can do.
And like now, if I like it, but always interesting, that kind of like mental creep into like making best shit.
Right.
But you see it every once in a while, like not hating on anybody, not like there's no one in particular that comes to mind, honestly, but like sometimes you can see when like someone hands you a jar and they're like, pretty good shit, right? And you're like, yeah, it's good.
Well,
and it's not bad. It's never bad. I've never, maybe I'm just fortunate, but I've never had someone come in here that's been working on this, that, or the other and hand me something and I'm like, oh, this is not good.
yeah, I try to be, because people come in here all the time. They want you to taste it. They want some critique.
Yeah.
And I never want to be discouraging, and I never want to be mean or rude or anything like that.
Sure.
But I also want to be honest.
Yeah.
And so there has been situations where I've, maybe you should have done this, or maybe you should have done that. Try this next time.
Yeah.
Try that next time.
For sure.
It might turn out better.
Yeah.
Without saying, look, this is garbage.
Yeah.
And I've made stuff of my own, like, oh, this is shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely be more honest with myself or like you than I could be with like, because it is kind of a delicate situation. Like you want to help and they're asking you like your honest opinion. But sometimes I'm like, do they really want my honest opinion? Or
Right.
Yeah, I would say the majority of people that come in here pretty consistently and bring us stuff, I'm always like, oh yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Martha White. What does that mean? What do you mean by that, Hubert? Also, great name.
See you later, Rooster. Glad you were here, brother.
Rooster?
Richard Henderson. I brought one in there that Cyrus tried that was bad juju. That was like your first run. I remember. But it was like first run on Beaver, and
Probably
you were still learning cuts. That was the thing. If I'm remembering correctly, you were just still figuring out cuts.
That's it. Like so much of the time too is like, oh, you just didn't cut this well.
Yeah.
There was good liquor in here to be had somewhere, and it's just like that's the hardest thing. Like in my opinion, like guys not knowing exactly where to cut it off and being a little too hopeful and just not making good cuts is
Hubbard asks, what would be a good one other than cornmeal to try? So as a first run, just some cracked corn, some sugar, some water. Sweet feed really helps that. So that's my super simple beginner kit is cracked corn, sweet feed. And that makes a really good liquor, and it's really easy. And you're not like, you don't end up with a lot of the problems you end up with cornmeal, like with dough balls and
not worried about cooking
trying to strain it and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier.
It's a sugar shine with stuff that adds flavor.
See you later, Terry. Glad you were here, brother.
Richard said, and I'm still learning cuts.
Yeah, cuts is just something that it's multiple runs that you learn from on every run, and you get better and better each time.
I feel bad about the advice on that every time when someone reaches out and asks too, because my answer is generally the same, which is make more runs. Make more runs and get more experience with making cuts and figuring out what is tails, what is heads, and
right.
It sucks, but that is one of in my opinion, the only way that you can get better at cuts is by doing more of it.
Doing more of it, yeah.
Joe Parks says, is sour mash sweet feed good?
I think if you're going to do a sour mash, like for me personally, I'm going to do a sour mash, I just want it to be corn.
Yeah.
But you can certainly sour mash corn and sweet feed, and a lot of people have done it and liked it. For me, it's just a preference.
Got 'em?
Well, we are half a jar. I think I'm calling it after this jar.
Yeah, that last.
And if you want to go deeper, of course, you know.
Well, that last jar came out at 63. I've got a sneaky suspicion that this one will, again, preliminary guess here, but I think that when we pull this next one off and proof it, that it's going to be somewhere down in the 40s. If so, I'm not going to run any deeper than that. I might keep the back set.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I'll probably I'll make this deal with you guys. If this next jar that I pull off is higher than 49, I will stick around for one more jar. If it's not, I'm going to sign off and shut the still down and go about my merry way. Meet my wife. Have a beer over at the brewery.
Yeah.
Who knows? Can't find me. Been thinking about apple deer corn for a while. I'm just too skeptical. Here's the thing. If you're skeptical about your ferment before you even run, you just don't do it.
So what? I missed the question.
It's about the apple deer corn. Skeptical about it, and
yeah, if you're skeptical, just don't do it. No,
Yeah.
that's for sure. Jason says, from what I've found, it's much easier to make cuts the higher the ABV. That's partly why I do 1.5 runs instead of one and done. I would agree with that. On a 1.5 run or a double distillation, the cuts are easier to make because I think you're compressing the entire run. So, pardon me, the lines between your cuts become more distinct. I agree with that.
Bill, everyone said, what is the ratio of sweet feed to corn? About 2.5 parts corn to 1 part sweet feed?
It's 1 part sweet feed, 2 parts corn.
I was off.
Just a smidge.
2.5. No.
6 pounds cracked corn, 3 pounds
6 pounds.
sweet feed.
6 pounds. My bad. I was doing the 8.5 math there.
Yeah.
That's the grounds.
Lynn says only one way to find out, Joe. Yep.
Richard, you should go have fun with your wife, Zach. We understand. I'll do that eventually. 1 jar is not going to make the difference there. For me, I'm kind of heeding Still in the Clear's advice. I'm going to run a little deeper into this run. For me, if I get down into the 40s, that's deep enough. I'm not too curious about getting 30 and 20, but I kind of want to get down into the 40s. I suspect, given the previous history of the jars in front of it, that this will probably be the last jar. I don't know that until I pull it off and prove it. We'll look. Hillbilly Glass Barrel said, I've drank some bad liquor due to cuts. I had to learn to stop trying to hit volume and focus on quality. We preach that all the time. I preach it in winemaking, when racking, trying to get people less focused about getting every drop out of the bottom of their carboy and keeping the lees and the sediment and stuff out of their newly racked wine into their fresh carboy. And so, yeah, it's no difference with distilling, in my opinion.
Can't Find Me says, hey, Cyrus, just ordered the bourbon kit with a few extras. Could you chunk in a Still in the Clear hat? So, no. But it's not because I'm just being mean. The hats come from a third party, so I don't even have the hats here. They get shipped from someone else.
I don't even have one.
They're pretty exclusive.
It's an exclusive deal.
Heavily glass barrels. I do single pass through a double thumper. Just have to be very focused on where you hit tails. What do you think he means by that? It's not so much focus on the
Pass
heads.
through a double thumper. You just have to. So single pass, double thumper. So he's got like a
Super
somewhat
compressed
of a,
heads.
somewhat of a triple distillation, and so yeah. So when you've got a triple distillation, so your proof is coming off higher. I'm suspecting, Hillbilly, your proof is coming off. You're still in the 160s, 150s area, and so your proof stays pretty high when you're running a still like that throughout the entire run. Kind of like when we're doing a neutral spirit.
Yeah.
It stays high the whole time, and then it just falls off.
Yeah.
And there is a line in there that it goes from really good to really bad really quick.
Hey, Adam, will you drop Collector Rick our address?
Yeah.
Don't know if that was an open offer to send some stuff over due to TikTok rules and guidelines. I'm not going to read your comment out loud, but Adam's going to put your address in the chat. Also, for anybody who wants us to try something on the live or wants us to send something to look at and talk about, Adam has put the address in the chat on YouTube as well as TikTok and Facebook. I don't know if they can see them too.
That address?
Yeah.
They will be able to.
There you go. Welding Inspector, what's up, brother? Hope you're staying warm, man.
Glad you finally made it. We've been waiting on you for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell, man? All right, here we go. Let's check this last jar here. Oh.
We run out of jars. Guess so. He's going to get another. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is pint number 11. So
Pint number 11.
roughly a gallon and a half. Of course, this doesn't mean that our final product will be a gallon and a half. There's going to make some cuts.
Oh, yeah, it's water.
46, 52, 47.
I would think, again, haven't proved to that yet. I would be thinking lower, just based off my smell and taste.
Can't find me. What's the site y'all talking about? Not sure what you're asking. We've talked about stillintheclear.com. The physical address that Adam has dropped in the chat, that is the Homebrew Center. Okay, he's dropping the Homebrew Center site, which there's not much there on the homebrewcenter.com site. Mead kit, a wine kit, that's pretty much all that's there right now. Richard had to get a new tube, broke mine the other day. Now I have 2. Hillbilly Glass Barrels, 51. Huh.
Crazy, too.
That was clearer than
Very
the last one.
clear. Super clear. That one was the only one out of the whole run, with the exception of possibly the first jar that was even mildly cloudy, which I find interesting.
$45.
All right.
Go Tigers.
Last jar of the night. Number 11 at 45 there. Bill Wesser. I don't know if there was one before him, but if
We'll see
not,
one.
old Bill came in there at the last minute and got a guess in there. As I suspected, kind of right in the middle of the 40s. I'll wait until the last minute when we leave. I'll run the rest of that jar out and set it up here. But I have had an absolute blast hanging out with everyone. I want to go ahead and
Been a great time.
yeah. I want to thank everybody. I mean, there's so many of you that stay throughout the whole duration of the show, and it's great to talk to you guys and comment with you and just kind of talk distilling and talk gas station hot boxes and how many boiled eggs can we eat and just all the different kind of shit we yapped about and what you guys are running too. I always find that super interesting to see, what are they running, and we get into some cantaloupe talk. I'd love a cantaloupe recipe in the MeWe group if anyone's got one. And but yeah, it's been awesome hanging out with everybody. I've really enjoyed it. I know Cyrus told me on the break that he was like, kind of, you guys were bumming him out, but not for me. I love you guys. And
I'm not telling you things anymore.
Yeah.
I'm bullshitting, of course, but I thank you guys for being here, and what a time hanging out with everybody. Appreciate Yadam. Get some love for Yadam in the chat before we sign off tonight.
Thank you, Adam.
Appreciate everyone that gifted memberships and hung out and commented and talked and drank and You got anything for the people?
Man, I love you guys for real. So it's always a good time. And we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for y'all. So
Not a shot. So, thank you guys. We'll see you next week and see you throughout the week on YouTube and TikTok.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.